together. We are all young professionals. If you think of the, but Kiss is laughing. If you think of the timeline of our career, given that people have, decades of work experience right now, so we're all still young professionals. We are very young in our career right now. So the focus is to bring young professionals together to rub minds, to listen to people who have, well, like to follow road. Let me put it that way, to follow road, to look at people that have done things that we would want to do at some point, see what they've done, and sort of learn those lessons. It would be great if you are joining this program and you're still in university. There are actually so many things people always say, oh my God, I wish I learned it when I was in university. But again, if you've worked for 10 years and you're still here, you're still in the right place. I find that sometimes you just hear one thing from someone and that thing is a leverage for your career. So whatever the stage of your career that you're in, if you're in NYSC, you're in second year of university, I always say that some of the things that changed my life, I heard them when I was in first year university. So I was quite lucky. Sometimes it could also be second year, but still, you still keep hearing things. So the idea of this program is to make sure we have people who have gone ahead, who have done a few things in their career. I'm looking at Balikis, I'm looking at Oluwatosin, Ayobami, Shakirat. Nothing Olalekan though. Then Ade Folarin as well. Ade Folarin and Olalekan, I've not seen both of them. Ade Folarin, if you're here, do you want to just raise your hand?
Here, actually.
Olalekan. My guy from Bahamas. So Olalekan and I live in the same city, but I never see him. He's always in Bahamas or he's in Puerto Rico. Olalekan, take me now. Let me follow you. Okay. Ade Folarin is here as well. Hi, Ade Folarin. I saw him now.
Hi, Babatunde.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm not sure
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm not sure we met in person, but I'm so super happy to see you here.
Yeah, I think we have.
Oh, we have. Okay.
Yeah.
You tell me about that. You have to tell me about that. But I'll be looking at your.
No, I think,
yeah, please go on.
yeah, I think it was in 2015 or 2016, but around that time, I think Edwidge is just about to kick off.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was around the time I was graduating, so I didn't attend Edwidge till like 2019. So.
Oh, can you imagine? You waited 4 years. Okay. When you said, okay, nice. I mean, I'm happy that you finally joined the academy, and I mean, you are here today, so you would share a bit of how that experience went for you. So nice to meet everyone. We have the entire house here. I'll quickly just speak about what the program will look like, and there we can kick off. I just cannot wait to get started and start asking questions. So beyond the classroom as a whole, I think I've spoken about that in a minute. The idea is that the way I sort of see life, we used to talk about real world experience and outside, what did they call, when we were in school, they say the outside world or something like that. I feel like the entire outside world is like a big classroom. So think of university as a microcosm, so to speak, as a small part of what society looks like. So the classroom actually extends, and what we're trying to achieve is to make sure that you can sort of think of your career as your professional life even as a classroom. But if you are currently in a classroom, what do you learn there that helps you to function in that larger classroom that society is? So that's what we're looking at. This series, this is the beginning, but we plan to do this quarterly. So if you are joining us today, I mean, I know you're going to have a great experience, but I also would say that you should keep this on your burner. Make sure it's on your calendar every quarter. We have alumni here, Edubridge alumni. We also have people that are looking to join. So I'm going to be speaking. Our facilitators are here as well. So I'm going to be reaching out to other people so that we have Shakira, we have Ade Folarin, but we also want to speak to other people as the case may be. So they wanted me to talk about Edubridge and its achievement. I feel like the biggest achievement we have, and I always talk about this every time, is the quality of people that come to Edubridge Academy. I cannot overemphasize that. One of the biggest privileges I've had in my career has been to teach the people at Edubridge. You know, I stay in front of the class and I teach them, and I'm really learning from these people. They're just amazing people. So there are going to be so many things you'll hear about what Edubridge has done, but I feel like the spotlight is going to be on the people that have come to this academy, and you hear them speak today. And the idea is that we also want excellent people. So everybody is great, right? But if you know that you are here and you are like, you want to do super amazing things, everybody is always looking out for such people. We can never get tired of attracting amazing people. There'll be prizes to be won and winners will be picked at random today. So I know Abdul Wakil said that it was marking register at some point, or marking punctuality. The idea is that we're also looking at participation. We're looking at people asking questions. So I'm going to encourage you to ask questions today. I'm looking at the chat box and I'm laughing. So that is so funny. But I'm going to be encouraging you to pay attention. I'm going to be encouraging you to ask questions. So please make sure you ask questions. I mean, just ask questions. Be very, very attentive. There'll be opportunities to ask questions in the chat box. But we also have times where or when we will pause asking the panel. So we can also ask you to actually let us hear your fine voice and just ask a few questions as well. Please make sure you are paying attention and asking those. Everybody, please tell me what prizes we are winning. I'm interested in those prizes. There'll also be a chance for participants to ask questions during the program. I think I mentioned that. So just make sure you drop your questions in there. They say, finally, we're going to have two people who will be willing to speak about what they've gained so far in the program. Again, this is another opportunity. Just make sure that you are paying that attention and you can always ask great questions. So we'll give everybody, so I'm going to have in this, what order do I have them? Please, if there's any time you cannot hear my voice anymore, just let me know. My computer and Google Meet are always doing a lot of wanting things. So if there's any point it doesn't become clear, please let me know. So I'm going to give Alaliko is the first one on my computer, but I saw Balikis first. So I'm going to give all of them 15 minutes. I'm going to mention their name. Then I'm going to give them 15 minutes. So 15 minutes generally. So maybe each person takes, 2 minutes to introduce themselves. So I'll start from Akinjobi Balikis.
Okay, thank you very much, Babatunde. Very nice to be here today and to see everyone. Nice to see you, Wahab, after very long time graduating together from OAU. So just as a form of introduction, my name is Balkis Abubakar and I currently work with Bank of America. I'm an associate specifically in Global Payment Solutions, which is under Global Corporate and Investment Banking. Prior to Bank of America, I worked with a boutique financial advisory company in Nigeria, Alpha African Advisory, and then I moved to London in 2021, and I started my career in a separate part of banking and finance with Bank of America, and I've been with Bank of America for 3 years now, covering clients in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So I'll keep it short.
That was interesting. Okay, so thank you, Balikis. I'll ask about Muhyiddin at some point, but I'll ask you later, right? How is he doing though?
Yeah, he's doing great. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, my greetings to him. Then I had Alaliko, I'm looking at you. I'll call you last. You don't even know. I had Shakira at some point as well. She put up a video. So Shakira, I'm going to call you.
Yeah, hi Babatunde. So good to see you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, good to see you after such a long time. It's good to see Balikis and everyone too. Great to be here. My name is Shakira. My friends now call me Shak Short, or I mean Shakira. I'm currently studying my MBA for my MBA at Columbia Business School. I'm a second year student. Last summer, I interned at Apollo Global Management. It was an incredible experience. I'll also talk about that. Before Columbia, I was an investment banking analyst at Rand Merchant Bank. I like to say Rand Merchant Bank is a leading investment bank across Africa. We're the best by far. Some people that their name start with S, so want to argue with it, but we're the best. RMB was a great experience. I was in RMB for 3 years. I worked across different transactions and structures. And then before then, I worked at United Capital as an equity research analyst for about a year and a half. And before then, I was in the lag at Edinburgh. I like to say I'm a double graduate of Edinburgh Academy, and also talk about that. So that's me in a nutshell. I like to call myself a finance and investment professional. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Shakira. Thank you for reminding me that we chopped your money twice. If there's another opportunity to do that, please let me know. I'll be so happy. And Shakira, I mean, I know I'm going to be in your city, so I know you're around to London, but we'll still have that conversation. I want to invite, I saw Yobami and Olalekan last in person, so I'm going to invite them last. But I would invite Ade Folarin. Yeah, Ade Folarin Abdul. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Babatunde. Good day, everyone. My name is Ade Folarin Abdul. I currently work with InfraCredit. Actually, like Infrastructure Credit Guarantee Company Limited, for short, InfraCredit. So I work as an associate there. I mean, with focus on renewable energy, right? And before then, I used to work in the insurance industry. I did 2 years there before I transitioned into finance and investment. And I would say I think I actually leveraged, some of the information and learnings in Edinburgh because I think it was intentional for me because I had to change, my career path there. So Edinburgh was like my expo, getting into InfoCredit. Before then, yeah, I was in Unilag. I finished 2016.
Okay, thank you so much, Ade Folarin, and thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
I will, there's some people that we've been doing this business a long time ago. We've known them since like forever. So I'm going to call Oluwatosi. We did Edubridge together. I don't even know where we did the Bridge Academy, but I know that we carried you to one far place in maybe Bagada or so to do the academy. So yeah, it was in one primary school in Bagada or something like that. But yeah, but Oluwatosi, can you go for it?
Thank you, Babatunde, and good to see you again. Good afternoon, everyone. And thanks, EduBridge, for this great privilege. I attended the Bridge Academy, which later to EduBridge, and I'm tempted to say I'm probably one of the oldest alumni here, apart from what. Yeah, All right, so in a nutshell, my name is Oluwatosin Ilori, safe to call me Tosin. I joined Deloitte April 2016. So I do financial advisory, and in my first year, I had the opportunity to, do everything in corporate finance, from mergers and acquisition, advisory to valuation to modeling to due diligence to I&CP, that's infrastructure and capital projects. Then sometime around, I think a year or a year after, we were made to specialize, and I chose transaction services and restructuring, which I'll come back to later. In transaction services and restructuring, what we're helping clients with will be due diligence, reporting, accounting, SP advisory, SP sales and purchase agreement advisory, value creation services, turnaround, and restructuring. In the course of my work, I've had the privilege of working with clients across the globe, and but then sometime around 2018. I was seconded to Deloitte Ghana to work in Deloitte Ghana, and I was meant to actually do a project there, which led to the merger of two banks in Ghana. Yeah, you will hear about Omni Beseech. So the Omni Bank and Sai Savannah Bank eventually merged under the auspices of the Apex Bank, then that's the Bank of Ghana. So I came back sometime in mid-2019, then continued working. Then I wanted to focus on restructuring. Then we had a partner then that came from EY UK to support our restructuring. Then we're trying to do what we call portfolio lead advisory service. Portfolio lead advisory service such that you go around banks and you look at their portfolios and you're asking, we can help you retrieve some of these loans. Just give us the opportunity to go and do like an independent business review on those banks. Yeah, so I did a bit of that plus for some time. Then I also did some form of corporate finance for like 6 months. Then I felt maybe I've learned enough. I want to go abroad. Now I'm going to talk about this later, but let me just give that I actually resigned sometime December 2020, and I got an opportunity with EY in the Middle East. Then I moved to EY in the Middle East, and one thing led to another. I had to come back to Deloitte Nigeria, and I'll talk about that in detail later, right? The moments, the feelings I had, the coming back. Some people actually thought I was a ghost when I came back. You know, so I mean, it was a good experience. Having to walk around Saudi and Qatar. You know, then I came back, and in a few months after that, I got a promotion to become a manager. So I've been a manager, and hopefully, if things go well before end of year, I'll be promoted to the next cadre. It's a pleasure. I'll be happy to learn from people and also share my experience. I hope to have a nice conversation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Oluwatosin. Thank you for mentioning that Middle East experience. I'm going to ask you questions about that at some point. You know, when you were saying you're the oldest alumni, and I just remember that we had done that all academy. So I was just thinking that if people can remember your primary school like nickname, you know that they've been there for a long time. But I know that you guys have also been very consistent in terms of your performance. So well done for that. I'm actually always very proud to hear that people are doing very well, right? So I'm happy to hear that. But that Middle East experience, I'll ask at some point.
Yeah.
Great. I'm going to call Ayobami. I saw Ayobami in December, right? December, like one of the last 2 days or so of the year. So Ayobami Omole, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, well, that's what we saw in December. First of all, let me apologize. My travel plan shifted a bit, so I'm currently at the airport, so you might hear some background noise. But my name is Ayobami Omole. I did undergrad in Babcock University, studied economics, graduated 2019. And shortly after, I interned with PwC Nigeria. Then I moved to United Capital PLC to do my NYSC. Shakirat and like EduBridge were very instrumental in me moving to United Capital. Then after United Capital, when I finished my NYSC, I got an opportunity to work with Telemar Research, which is a UK firm focused on doing research on emerging markets and selling that research to US and other European investors. I covered software and African telcos. It was very interesting. I really loved my job there, but towards the end, it was becoming very difficult because of all the capital protection and policies that immediately had in place. So I was already looking for something to do apart from that and like just leave my career in research. And also research was just getting very boring. So I started thinking about like applying to an MBA program or something like that. But along the way, somebody reached out to me to join African Finance Corporation. And I joined the financial advisory team. So I was advising on transactions across Africa, infrastructure projects majorly, with railway, mining, oil and gas, and some telecom deals. Very interesting. I think we even worked with Josie on one of the transactions that we were doing. Then I got into HBS because, like I said, when I was at Telema, I was already considering my MBA program. So I applied to my MBA program. I think the first week I joined the AFC, got into Harvard Business School. And yeah, I'm currently a student, first year student at Harvard Business School, doing my MBA currently. I'll be going to Morgan Stanley, New York for summer. I think that's everything. But yeah, happy to go into detail with every step of the way as we move through the conversation.
Okay, thank you, Ayobami. Thank you. We went to, what was it we used to do? There was a time we used to go to like universities. Was it recruitment challenge, right? We went to
recruitment challenge. So I learned about EduBridge from Shakirat. It's always been very interesting and she's very passionate about the course. And I met Babatunde physically, I think in 2018 during CFA Research Challenge. And we worked together to, do recruitment challenge in Babcock University at the time because I was vice president of the Students Association.
Yeah, I mean, great, amazing leadership experience. But I will never forget. That Ayobami was gisting with us. We were organizing recruitment challenge. Like everybody was writing the test. Ayobami was sitting behind us. All of us were gisting. So just, when somebody's just eating popcorn, like she just took the questions. She was just like doing it, as talking to us, organizing, getting people. By the time they added the results, that was how Ayobami was on top like this. I was like, wait, when did you do that exam? When did you do it? exam that everybody did in 2 hours, she did 20 minutes. She still got the highest. So we have remarkable people here, and I'm so happy that she's here. Then finally, I'm going to introduce Olaleko. Olaleko, if there was a chance not to introduce you, I will not introduce you today. But
Finally.
but finally, so Olaleko Wahab at Chicago Bulls. Do you want to go for it?
Oh yeah, thanks for watching. My name is Lekon Wahab, and first of all, nice to be here. Seeing you about it again after so many years of graduating in OAU. Yeah, my name is Lekon Wahab, second year MBA at Booth. I spent the summer at UBS Investment Bank within the TMT Investment Banking in New York. Prior to that, I worked at the African Finance Corporation in Nigeria within the tech, telecom and heavy industries investing team, more like investing on infra project across Africa. Had a great time there, great people. Before AFC, I was at ARM within the corporate strategy team, mostly like the investment holding company, coordinating with all the business managers, helping the holding company to like raise financing from investors and all of that. I had great experience there. Before ARM, I worked at KPMG within the consulting team. I was there for about 2 years. Yeah, Edbridge was a great impact on my career, personally and professionally. I think one thing I learned, I took out from the program was the people, the relationship, the network. And, you know, as we move along in our career, the one thing you want to double down on is actually the network, the people you meet. Puts you in connection with relationship, like connecting with other people with other opportunities. So that's something I think was a big thing I took out of the program. I have to stop my words and other things as we move along.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Olaleko. I remember when you guys used to have like market update at Edbridge. Everybody just was giving themselves like fire for fire. It was just really hard. It was just so much fun having so many really smart people from different universities, and nobody would just agree for each other. It was just really nice. I'm going to start with a question. I mean, I'm supposed to ask everybody different questions, but I actually want to start with a question, one question for everybody. It was not a question on your, so I'll let you take it whichever way you want. So we're going to go for like 15 minutes. Then we ask one question from the chat. Then we'll continue. But you guys but I'm just listening to all of you, right? I mean, you guys came to Edbridge, you went to amazing universities, but you've also had like remarkable careers so far, right? In terms of, even if you are really smart from high school or university, you find smarter people in university, then you find smarter people in Edbridge, smarter people at work, because that is how life is, like a pyramid. What quality, think about yourself and say, what quality do you think you have, or people have told you that you think has fared you well in your career thus far? What would be that? It could be 2. I know some people have 5, right? But if you can think about it, and I can let anybody, I'm not going to call names because I know this is not I just want you guys to take it whichever way you want. What quality do you think people have said about you, or do you think you have, like, what's your superpower? Let me put it that way, that you know, because I know that we have so many different categories of people on this call, and I just really want them, just listen to your profile. That just kept like, these guys are amazing people, but people want to know, right? And I want to know so that I can copy you people. But what have you guys, what one quality would that be for you? So who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first, Baba, today. Yeah, sure. So personally for me, I mean, thinking in retrospect, I think the personality that I have and what I've gotten in terms of feedback from people that sort of set me apart is my persistence. So I think I'm someone that always have eyes on the goal, and I'll looking back at how I started from university graduation and up to where I am today, and also where I'm going to be going. I think that consistent persistence to pursue excellence has been a major differentiator for me. So looking at my undergrad level, trying to pursue great GPA, and also still juggling it with extracurricular activities, because even right from then, because of all of the information that we had, I already knew that, you need to think beyond lecture room. You need to be able to leverage opportunities, and I've always tried to apply for these opportunities. Sometimes you get rejected. I had like so many rejections, but the major thing is keeping that pursuit on, trying to apply as much as possible, and staying persistent with what I want for myself. So I think even right now in my role at work, I'm a salesperson, so having that persistence with trying to sell the bank solutions to clients in different countries, the cultural differences, but still going for it is part of one the key differentiator for me amongst my peers at work. So I think that persistence is something I'll call out specifically that differentiates me.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for that persistence. And you had received so many rejections. Wow. Okay. I'm happy. Like you still went on, you continue to do that. Well done. Who
I'm a
will
good
go
student.
next?
I'm a
Oluwatosin, right? Okay, go. Tosin, go for it.
Yes, I think mine also is related to what Balikis has said, but I would rather call it self-leadership.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it means doing things, not necessarily because I'm trying to gain something from it, but because as a matter of personal drive. Like my boss will say that the crop of analysts I got in your set, there's just something unique about you guys. You are learning things not because, so you're trying to improve on your knowledge, trying to, build your network. And it's so evident that you guys go out of your way to get all these things, and you are that kind of person that we see that we can put the future of the firm in your hands. Yeah. So I can talk about something really personal. I just got a call some minutes before this call, and it was another promise of leadership. It was a case that you guys, the way you guys are projecting yourself, the way you're working in the firm, we see you guys as future leaders, and we don't want to lose you guys. So it's self-leadership. It is investment in oneself. It is knowing that so I always think ahead, to say, okay, even if my leader is not around or something, I step into their shoes. And if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others. I won't say that there were times when I didn't fail or I didn't drop the ball, but it is you picking yourself every time you drop the ball. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna come back again to this and ask a few steps that people can take with that. I think you've actually started speaking to them, but I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I would who else will go?
Let me go for it.
Okay.
I think one thing I would say, which ties back to what Parkis and Tosin mentioned, is actually that unyielding attitude and confidence. Just believing in yourself and shooting for the moon. Just if you're looking for something, you want a job, you want anything, just go for it. Like reach out to people. I think that's something that has served me well in my career. So I don't think there is no one I can reach out to. Like even if you are Joe Biden or you are whatever, like I'm gonna email you, right? Like so just knowing how to position yourself. So if okay, I'm looking for this opportunity, for example, and I know there are a lot of people that work in that firm, reach out to like 5 people and then try to tell your story in a way that it's concise, in a way that makes them want to help you. Would they all respond? No, but at least there's like a 20% chance somebody would respond to you, right? So I think that attitude to always shoot for the moon and always positioning for the opportunity, making sure you are getting ready, you are developing your skills, you're building relationships. I think that's something that has served me well in my career. I can talk more about this as we move along.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I have been on the receiving end of that, so I know I can testify. But who else? I can see Bifolarin smiling. I can see Shaprat. Oh, Ayobami, please go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay.
maybe I'll go
Go
next
ahead.
if I have to go through security. I think
Okay.
everybody has said almost the same thing I want to say, which is persistence and just being a go-getter. I remember my last job at AFC, like that's one thing like everybody kept saying. They were just like, oh, you don't back down. And I think that like that's a very good thing to have. Like it's a good energy to have, especially for things that like you really care about. I do not extend that same energy to everything. But once I identify something I really want, then like it's going to take a lot to say I'm not going to get it. The second thing is, and everybody has touched on this in different ways. I don't think it's likability. So likability is not like kissing ass, but it's like getting people to believe in you and wanting to like do everything for you, or like wanting to put you in rooms where you want to be. And that only happens if you've demonstrated like a track record of doing things very well, being excellent, people trusting you to deliver, and people like truly believing in your story, which cannot happen if you do not believe in yourself. It's just like it's interconnected, and you can't just say like it's two things, but like the likability is what has like helped me a lot to a very large extent. Like I said, I think I mentioned that like Shakira was the one that recommended me for my job at United Capital. Then when I went for the interview, Wale had come to Edinburgh to judge our pitch events. And it was just like, well, you're not the most technically sound person, but like I would like to have you on the team because you have a very good energy. So it's just like ability and like having good vibes. Yeah, I know it sounds like very plain, but that's what I'll summarize it as.
Okay, thank you, Ayobami. And thank you also for taking this at the airport. Adefola, I think you wanted to speak. Was it you?
Yeah, yes, that was me. I think I will go next. Also similar to what Baliki said, and I think I will call it can-do attitude, right? You know, when I joined InfoCredit, I actually joined as an intern, but I found myself in a position where I knew I had to take charge because okay, so we had like a new sector, which is the renewable energy, but I was just an analyst on the team, right? And the lady leading the team, she was I think AVP, I guess. She left the team, and it was just me and her in the team, and we're about to, do our first transaction. So there were so many kickbacks into, trying to get new person to join the team, and I had to step in and I had to move the transaction to financial close, which was my first one. But I mean, looking back, I don't think that would have been achievable if I don't have that can-do attitude. Because at that point, I was still learning the ropes, but I just sort of immersed myself into, okay, I think I can get this done. Talking to senior people so that I can, learn more. So I mean, ideally, to have, you know, maybe like 1 year for me to, really transition into where I can now fully support transaction or lead transaction. But I found myself, you know, at that point where like I have to do these things. Yeah. So I think it's the can-do attitude for me. Yeah. It's really standard for me.
Okay. Can-do attitude. Okay. I'm going to do, that's another one that I'm going to double click on at some point, but thank you so much. And I think I have one more person.
That will be me, Shakira.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think everyone has said, something, but I'll just say 3 things for myself. So number one is I'm very, very curious. There's something I want to know about. There's nothing that can stand in between myself and that thing. I will find it and I will think, and it's a feedback about this. Even for the first job I had in my career, Shakira asked so many questions. You get tired of me and my questions. I think the second thing I would say is never back down attitude, which is I really get intimidated by things. I really get intimidated. I'll give you an example. When I was recruiting on campus for my summer internship, there was this guy. I don't think they told the guy about the kind of water we drink in Nigeria. This guy showed up and was like, "Oh, the job we are both interning for this. We're both interviewing for this job, but the MD told him that is the preferred person for the role." So I should technically not waste my time. I said, thank you for the information. We'll continue with the process. I'm in Nigeria and I have coconut head. We'll continue with this process. And I just said that, look, you're just talking nonsense. Until the recruiters tell me what is going on, whatever you said is none of my business, frankly. But then we continue with the process. And to his shock and even to my shock, I remember the day we had the final interview. It was just both of us that got to the last stage. And we arrived at the bank's office and we walked into the office around the same time. And he looked at him, I looked at him, I said, one of us will do this office with this job. And even if it's not me, I'll chop my L. It's fine. But it will be because you told me they said they liked you. I'll do my interview and I'll go home. And to everyone's surprise, even to my surprise, I got the job. It's good to have coconut head at times. So I have coconut head. I don't give up. And then I think the third thing is just being able to like engage with people, which I think is what I like. It puts me in the room with Joe Biden, like Lincoln was saying. I will engage with him. I won't get intimidated again. I'll ask him questions. We can almost like I always try to pick an interest in people and like be able to engage with anybody, even a child. I can almost engage with them. So I would say those are like my 3 things that I do, and then I can like share my example about it.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. I'm taking notes, right? So just listening to all of you, like there are like central threads that I can hear, like that multiple things: people management, self-management, then persistence. Like I just see that persistence like in everybody, hearing people not being ashamed or being fine to say that they failed or they were rejected, but the fact that almost all of you have said that when you want to do something, nobody can stop in your way. That is scary for me. And I'm even like, just here, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to face you people. But it just shows how success is not there for anybody's taking. We have to go and grab it, right? And on that way to grabbing it, there might be people that will say no to you. And sometimes that may be Joe Biden saying, no, I'm the one that has that opportunity. And you have to go and say, Joe Biden, I respect you, you're the president, but I need that internship. You have to give it to me. So I just like hearing that. And I just hope like this, even as I'm listening to you, you guys are refiring me, right? In terms of, I'm just picking that up, and that is super amazing. So the next question, so now I'm going to be going to specific questions for individuals. And one of the questions I see for Oluwatosin here, and I'm going to start, is that with your experience in the industry, and I'm reading this, what opportunities are available for youth and what skills? So this is a double question. What opportunities are available for youth, given that you've been working for a while, right? And you also most likely hire people. And what skills are crucial for those aspiring to take advantage of opportunities, either at your firm or at an international level? I will say that again, that was a mouthful. What opportunities are there for young people or for youth, right? And what skills do they need to be able to leverage those opportunities, either at your firm or at an international level? Take it whichever way you want.
All right, thanks. I'll start by saying that there are bountiful opportunities, and reason because a lot of time people tend to narrow the opportunities to the big 4 firms, particularly folks who study accounting. However, there are more than that. Right, there's banking, there's investment banks, there's asset management. That's for even folks who have the finance background. There are also opportunities in tech, because I do understand that we have different people with different diverse backgrounds on the call. Yeah, but maybe I can talk particularly to where I'm more familiar with, which is in finance, right? And of course, there are opportunities around, but how do people now position themselves to get these opportunities? And that is what we found increasingly interesting. And I was speaking to my colleague last week after an interview, and what I told him that, interestingly, I found that the guys we interview, we actually are not particularly concerned about their technical skills, but what's becoming increasingly concerning is their behavioral skills. Yeah. So we are increasingly asking people to, yes, we know you are accomplished in your university, but how authentic are you, and how are you able to tell your story? And that takes us to the ABCDE. So we are increasingly looking for candidates who are authentic, who are bold. In my place, we say humility is boldness, shyness is pride.
Could you say that again?
Humility is boldness. Shyness is pride.
Humility is boldness. I have to write that down. Okay. Okay.
Right. So we know, so we are seeking candidates who are humble to ask questions, who are teachable, but who are bold, to ask those questions. So that takes me to the B. Now the C part is creative. How creative are you? And how culturally aware are you? So there's a saying I share with my spouse, and I say, firms are beginning to see that we may be able to teach skills, right? But what we are beginning to find increasingly difficult is how do we teach you to be fit for our firm? So you see that, we've interviewed many candidates, but we feel that these candidates are more fit in terms of the way their attitude, their behaviors, and the way they present themselves, right? So in a sense, it does appear like the skills particularly may not be scarce, but we're having candidates who do not embody the roles that they are interviewing for, right? So that takes me to A, B, C. I've talked about being authentic. I've talked about being bold. I've talked about being culturally fit and being creative. So I'll talk about the D. Now, the D aspect is being dynamic. The D aspect is being dynamic. And the E aspect is candidates who are in themselves excellent individuals. And this I cannot overemphasize. Now, the reason why I say so is because in my place, there's a word we usually use to say, are you proud of your colleagues? Are you proud of your team members? Are you happy that the guys you call your team members are in your team? So that when you have a question, are you able to ask your team members, and are you happy with the responses that you're getting? We say that a team is as strong as its weakest link. So I'm happy when I look around and I see the incredibly smart individuals around me. But when we make a decision because of emotion, because we don't want to drop this individual, let's just manage him and things like that, then we bring him into the team and it drags the rest of the team backward. So firms are also beginning to look at same agility. Be a candidate, for instance, and this is what I want to also mention to people on the call. It is important that people know that when we are interviewing people, we look beyond technical competence and academic excellence. In fact, in the interview form, I usually feel about 8 different aspects. There's a section for strategic direction. There's a section for influence. There's a section for leadership. There's a section for living our purpose or future fit. Is this person future fit for the firm? As this person grow in the firm, can we remold this individual to be future fit? I mean, as the person grows in the firm, yeah. Beyond just the academic excellence and the whole academic excellence, technical competence, even though those are very important, right? I need to mention that these are very important. Technical competence cannot be overemphasized. However, there are other important areas that we also seek out from candidates. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for saying that. And maybe one follow-up question I'll ask. I don't think I want to ask you, but I think I'll come back and ask. Is listening to that, I was getting a little intimidated because when I was coming from school, I was like, "Oh, this is that you're saying me, I know. I have to be honest, right?" Right? Yeah, right. I mean, I know I was coming from school. I probably knew something. Of course, for them to have employed me, maybe I knew something. Maybe I could ask Adefolari this question because I wanted to spread it out, right? I just I'm kind of like intimidated, right? And I want to see how that works even from info credit. How do people build this type of skills coming out of university? And we like to say not so great things about our university, but maybe my question to you would be, how did you build some of these skills or qualities when you were in Unilag? And I know you were in Unilag, right? Can you go for that?
Sorry, I was actually muted. Yeah, I went to Unilag. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think Tosin mentioned something very critical, right? And I think it shapes, you as a person, right? Ultimately, which is, being, teachable, because it's one of the first things people want to see, that even if this person does not have the, you know, required skill, can we mold this person? Is this person teachable, right? Um, and my MD used to say it a lot, right? That maybe we're looking for someone to join the team, and it's like, oh, we're not saying someone that sort of have the required skills, but they're like, no, we need to look at the attitude first, right? So before you start bringing in what you know in terms of the hard skill, right? I think the soft skill is very important. You need to have the right positive attitude to get the things done, right? So, but I think that is very important. You need to be very teachable. Like, you need to unlearn what you know, right? You need to almost research and try to pick everything from beginning. If not, you will feel you know something and then you are moving on the wrong lane, right? So another thing I would mention is, self-determination, right? And maybe if you have someone that is up there that sort of share your kind of story, I think you can also, model towards that person, right? In terms of learning from their experience, in terms of you know, trying to know more about the story, right? Very recently, I think there's this lady from the UN. She stopped by in info credits, and then I had the opportunity to have a quick chat with her, right? I think she's in charge of the sustainable energy for all, the UN body, right? And then she shared her story, right? So sometimes, those story help you also achieve what you set out to achieve, right? So for me, self-determination, and then also, being teachable, I think is the key ingredient to shaping who you want to be ultimately.
Okay, thank you. That helps a lot. That helps a lot, because sometimes when I hear teachable, I'm like, okay, what does that even mean? Like, also coming out of school, because a part of me, I don't know what. Okay, I know people might sometimes when we come out of school and we get some of these jobs, we sometimes maybe forget where we're coming from and how raw we were sometimes coming out of school. I just feel like some people took a chance on us, right? But I also want people listening to this call to also recognize that, I mean, all of us went to Nigerian universities. There were things that we knew, there were things we didn't know. But what I'm hearing is that you are teachable, you are showing that even these things that I don't currently know. And I still like what Ayobami said, that they said, oh, maybe you weren't like, he said it was a bit painful. Maybe you weren't like the strongest on the technicals, but we just see your attitude and we're like, we just like your energy. They're just something that you bring. So if you're listening to this and you're like, these people are speaking too much grammar. Me, I don't even, honestly, don't even know anything like this. Yes, you do. If you're on this call, I think you do, right? So it will be, what are the things that you know well, right? And what are the experiences you can get today that can also signal that you have those things? But that is something I'm going to pick from here. So being teachable and just that self-determination, that matters. And to some extent, some of the things you've done in the past might also signal or signpost the fact that you're very teachable, right? It could be just being teachable that some people were wondering, like, because me, I'm wondering, like, does being teachable means that when they taught me microeconomics, did I understand? Me, I'm like, I just used to cram and you don't even know. I'll just go and do the exam and just get out. But were you taking something out of it? Because they'll test you in the interviews as well. My next questions, I'm going to ask Balikis and Ayobami together, right? Then I'm going to ask Shakirat and Olalekan together. I'm supposed to go on break, but this thing is too sweet. I can't go any break right now because just wait. I'm going to ask a question. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask Balikis and Ayobami their question. Then I'll put out like a general question. You guys can think about it. Then I'll put out a general question for everybody to be thinking as well. They will come back for you to answer. Is that fine?
Yeah, sure. Babatunde, that works.
Okay, good.
Sorry, please, can I come back to the question? Currently, unable to speak after now.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
sorry.
Just let's know when you're ready, right? Yeah. Okay. So Ayobami is in the airport. That's just so much fun. Anyways, so the question I wanted to ask Balakis is, I'll ask Balakis, and if Ayobami is not ready, I can get any of Olalekan Shakira to answer the question. I even want to do two of them bad thing before anyway, so I can just put it there because Shakira ran away. She ran away. That's why I'm doing this to her. Now, Balkis, this is a question I'm trying to ask. In your opinion, what role do mentorship and networking play? And I think we're speaking to this in a few. We'll be speaking to this somehow. What role do mentorship and networking play in helping young professionals navigate and seize global or domestic opportunities within the corporate and investment banking sector, right? Again, what role do mentorship and networking play in helping young people seize that opportunity? It could also be smart. It would also be great if you can spice it with some of your own experiences, right? In terms of how those things have helped you. So I think Shakira and Olale can also listen if Ayobami is able to take that question. Now, before I let them answer that question, so the first giveaway question for the audience, I feel like Frank who wants to be a millionaire. Audience play. Everybody play music for me. Bah, bah. Okay. Pick one of the standout feature. Pick one of the standout features for our panelists and mention how you want to implement that in your life. I'm trying to understand that question. Pick maybe one of the qualities that they've been speaking about, the features or the qualities or their personality that they've been talking about, right? Pick one of those things that they've spoken about and mention how you want to implement that in your life. Please, you're going to write that in the chat box. You're not going to say it. I can see people raising their hand. We'll take your question, but just give me a few minutes to get that. Cynthia, I can see your hand, but we'll take that question later. Just give me a minute. So again, this question, I want you to think about it and type it. So you go, it's fast. I would say fastest finger first. So it said first reasonable response. So think well, all right? Pick one of the standout qualities or features that people have mentioned. There's a second part of that question, and mention how you want to implement that in your life. Mention how you want to implement that. How are you going to apply it? So that being said, people, fastest finger going, and me feeling special with myself, I can now ask Balkis, how would you engage that question?
No, thanks, Babatunde, for the question. So thinking about that question and the audience on the call, I know we have some undergrads, grads. So let me just approach it in the sense of looking at my own story from my undergrad days, mentorship and networking. To be honest, as an undergrad, that would mean like several things for me. And it will have meant, okay, like me reaching out to top people, trying to see if they can mentor me. But that would be a wrong approach if you're an undergrad because, people that can mentor you might not be, those people in top places already. It might be someone closer to you. It might be someone maybe like a few years ahead of you in the university. So sometimes we make the mistakes of, trying to reach out to top people that might not really have our time to help us, go through or navigate life generally or career. So I'll say that as an undergrad, trying to reach out to people that at closer reach to you as a mentor is very good and will help you greatly. But then looking at as graduates, you start stepping into internships or like graduate roles. Then within your workplace, you could get a mentor. But more importantly, if you've graduated, you've started your job, maybe year one analyst, you start thinking about having more than a mentor. You should start thinking about having a sponsor. So a sponsor then is someone that will help to speak for you in a room where you are not there, like someone that can help you, propel your career forward, someone that can help you move to the next stage of your career. So first, as an undergrad, think about mentors, maybe not like people that will not really have your time, people that are closer to you. As a graduate, year one in your workplace, think about not having just a mentor, but having a sponsor. And this also works for everybody, whatever level you are in, associate, VP, director, you need to have a sponsor at every stage of your career to help you move to the next stage. So then talking about the other part of the question, which is about networking, I think as an undergrad, when you're thinking about networking as well, I think it will be more about putting yourself out there. There are so many opportunities. Thinking about my university days, we had, conferences, AESC that were planned by students like ourselves in economics department. Your school might not have like all of these opportunities, but you trying to leverage what you have. It might just be even taking leadership roles within different organizations, student-led organizations, helping you because the people, like for example, now my network, on this call, I know Ayobami, on this call, I know Shakira, I know Lekon, I know like, so your network is not really like, you can build your network from your peers because those are people that you carry along the way as you move ahead in your career as well. So take every opportunity that you have now to build that network. It might not be that everyone has, blown or, but building that network in every space that you are in is very important, and keeping hold of that network as well. So just to summarize, I think looking at your mentorship, your networking space, it's more of trying to grow yourself, trying to put yourself out there. If you're an undergrad, trying to attend as much conferences, attend corporate presentations, attend trainings like EduBridge Academy. You meet people there. That's part of how to build your network as an undergrad or as a fresh graduate. And also, if you're already like maybe a few years into your workplace, start thinking about not just mentorship, start thinking about sponsorship, because it will really, really help you. Like working in a global space for me has really taught me that like sometimes it's not just your work will not speak for yourself or for itself. You need to have people that can speak for your work as well, which will help you move ahead in the career ladder. So I think, yeah, that's the way I'll approach it. Hopefully I was able to answer the question well to make it relevant to the different people that we have in the audience.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Baki. So when you were saying, do you have a sponsor? Me, I'm like, God, do I really have a sponsor? I'm doing 360 review for myself. Like, God, mark my script though. But anyways, and so I like what you said. If you think just mentor me, that is a wrong approach. I really like that, right? Then you have to think of people surrounding you. So that was great. Thank you. Now I'm looking at Olalekon and Shakira. Two of them, they are professors of this thing. Two of them, like anyone ever that I choose. Is Ayobami? Let me check if great. Ayobami is here. So Ayobami, go for it.
Yeah, I agree with everything Balikiza has said. My own style is I don't have one single mentor. So like a mentor like that does not exist for me. And what I usually do is I believe that like life is a university and everybody has something to teach me. And so, like, every opportunity I get to learn from anyone, I'm going to take it. And so, like, I won't say, oh, this person is my mentor. Like, I don't have just one person that I go to reach out for different advice. I remember that last year, I was asking Shakira something about, like, the realities of moving to the US as a Black woman and what that means, like, for building relationships and, in particular, romance, because she has that experience and she's able to teach me that. I'm going to reach out to somebody else, for instance, or even maybe Shakira, if I want to learn more about traveling and just being able to leverage your Nigerian passport. Because everybody has something to teach me, right? And that is the approach I usually take. And yes, the best people that are able to give me the most relevant like advice are people that are closer to me in terms of rank. So I am not going to reach out to a CEO to ask, just basic questions. The most important questions that I think I need in my day-to-day to be able to execute and to be able to move forward are people who have done this like 2 years before I've done it. So when I got, an opportunity to apply to AFC, for instance, I reached out to Lekon. I was like, oh, how do I go through this interview process? And he shared the resources with me. And like, that is just the way I do my thing. So it's not like a single mentor. Although there's also like there's a point where you need people who are also up there to like, give you advice to look at things strategically. But what I found is that type of advice is probably once in a year kind of thing. It's not every day, it's not every month. The most important people to me are the people who are very close to me and that kind of like 2 steps, 3 steps, or 4 steps ahead of me. And to what he said, to what Badiki said about sponsors, yes, I definitely agree with it. Like, sponsors are very, very important, because when you have somebody who has this credibility in their own career, speaking about you in rooms where you're not, people automatically also ascribe their own credibility to you. I don't know how to explain it, but somebody who is a superstar, who's like an MD at your job, is just, waxing lyrically about like how good they are. Like, people are automatically going to believe that you're also very good because that person has some credibility that they're lending to you. And it's also very, very important. Building networks. I think one thing that Balikis didn't mention is that, like, it's not just about meeting people and collecting their numbers and like being there, but also like taking the time to connect with them, taking the time to share resources if you think there's something valuable that they can get from you. I like to believe that as much as I've benefited from everyone on this call that I know, that they can also reach out to me if they need any question, if they need any questions answered, if they need any of my time, if they need my resources. And just like people being you as somebody who will come through for them makes people want to come through for you too. That's all.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ayobami. Please let me know when you really have to run, right? It looks like you're still like, yeah, inside the plane, but you still have our time. So, thank you for mentioning that. I like that part about you adding that part about actually taking time to connect with people when you reach out to them. And also, as you were speaking, you also mentioned the names of people here, and something that I found really interesting is how you mentioned Olalekon, you mentioned Shakirat. You guys, when people come to Edinburgh, this thing happens in Edinburgh a lot. And I think Balkis mentioned that. I always find that when people come, their school does not matter again when they enter Edinburgh. Because when you are coming from Unilag, or you are coming from Babcock, or you are coming from Uniben, right? You know people in your school, but when you come to Edinburgh, you now find out that the way I see Edinburgh people interconnect, it should make me laugh. You just see when you are coming from undergrad, your network, at least for your peers, might be limited to your school. It might be an Instagram, right? But when it comes to work-related things, your peers matter like a whole lot. And when you come to like a place like Edinburgh, I'll just find that I'll just see one Uniben person talking to one OAU person. I'm like, where did you know the person is at? It's Edinburgh. And this is the beautiful part. It's not that I met Shakirat in Edinburgh that is beautiful on its own. I met Balikis, or I met Ayobami, or Adi Folarin. What matters is that all Shakirat's friends now, they're now in my network. That is the part I think people forget. It's not just that I met Shakira there, I met Adi Folarin. No, everybody that's Adi Folarin's friend, they are now friends with me. And I can always work with them. People go to each other's parties, and it just helps you to know. And you will not know the value of this. When you start working in banking or consulting or audits, and you're KPMG and you have work to do, and you need to talk to somebody in insurance company, that's when you will know the value of network. You can't talk to the partner is too senior. You now be looking for who is the analyst in insurance, so a Mansard that I can talk to. You now see that, oh, this person and Oluwatosin, their connection, and I just call Oluwatosin. Okay, you know that person, connects me to them. They will tell you things that you can never find elsewhere. So those networks, you might think those networks matter more for getting jobs. Yes, I think they actually matter for private information that you will not get elsewhere. So networking matters a lot. So I'm really happy that Balikis and Ayobami mentioned that. I didn't get the opportunity to ask Olaleko and Shakira. Both of them, I fear them in networking. But anyways, I'm within. Oh God. So the winner of that that giveaway question I've been told to announce is Oluwatimileyin Dare. So Oluwatimileyin Dare, you have won airtime with Edinburgh. So just reach out to them and collect your money. Just reach out to them and they will let you know how to reclaim the prize. The name again is Oluwatimileyin Dare. So you would hear from them. So Shakirat and Olaleko, I'm going to ask a question. Then I'm going to take people's questions now. I wanted to go around everybody at least one question. So, Shakirat and Olaleko are currently they're in some of the best schools in the world for banking and finance and even generally MBA programs. People are interested. So they say, Shakirat, and I'm going to ask Shakirat and Olaleko, so you're going to answer this question, is how were you able to get into Columbia Business School? People are underrating you. They say, who sent you a message? Like, how were you able to get in? So the question is, Olaleko, for you, it's going to be, how did you get into both, right? So people want to know, and I'm asking this question I want you to relate it from a Niger. Do you get my point? Like, it's good. I want you to let people know that this is my journey, and this is how I got into this kind of opportunity, so that people can see themselves like in that direction. So for you, it's going to be, how were you able to get into Colombia? Can you share insights from your experience pursuing? I want to make it as simple as possible. How are you able to what was that journey for you getting into Colombia, right? CBS, and for Olalekan, Chicago both. And what is that journey contributing to you so far? So I'll let you take it whichever way you want. Shakira first.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll just say 4 things. I think the first thing with like accessing any opportunities, hearing about it, and which goes back to the networking and just putting yourself out there. Like if you are always in your, now I'm speaking to undergrads, but also fresh grads, if you're always in your house or in your hostel and you don't even step out, you don't go for conferences, you don't meet people, you don't even have a picture of what to aspire for. And for me, I first heard about the MBA program when I was in Unilag undergrad, and I was in the investment society, and they brought some Unilag alums to come and speak with us. And one of them is the current MD of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and he said he did his MBA at MIT. And I remember looking at him like, what's MIT? What's MBA? And he was really trying to explain, it's this leadership. I'm just like, whatever. And then I got to my hostel, I Googled it, I was like, wow, this exists. And just to put context into all of this, I'm a real Lagos girl. Like, I won't take, like, it's not like I grew up with this, like, I have my privileges, but I didn't grow up hearing things like MBA around me at all. I grew up in the Butemeta, I went to Unilag. My parents are absolutely awesome. They spent so much money on my education. But if you know that, like, your current environment or wherever you are doesn't necessarily give you access to these things, then start putting yourself out there. And it's much easier now because there are so many virtual events. Even if the event does not in any way interest you, just go there and just see the profile of the speakers. And it's going to, something will just drop in your mind. They're like, wow, this one too exists. Nice. Maybe sometime in the future it will make sense. Maybe not. I don't know. So just hearing about it, I think is the first thing. Then the second thing is now like deciding at some point in time if you really want to go for it. And for me, this is where I'm going to mention Babatunde. So when I started, I heard about the MBA, I was like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then sometime in 2020, I started thinking to myself that I really want to know how to do this MBA now, but I'm scared. Do I have enough work experience? Does my profile fit in? By the way, I have a first class from Middle I don't know why I thought my profile did not fit in. And this is where having voices around you that can almost estimate the kind of potential you have, even the ones you can't see, and tell you, Shakirat, I've seen people in that class, and this is what Batunde was saying, I'm not sure you remember, but he told me, I've seen people in that class that are not smarter than you. Then it was in Kellogg, he was doing his MBA, and it was like, these guys in this class are not smarter than you. Put together your application and apply. And just hearing that from him, knowing that he knew me all the way from Unilag to United Capital to RMB, I was like, okay, I'm scared, I don't believe in that yet, but I'll take his confidence and run with it. Then I remember I went to go and start preparing for my GRE. So that's the second thing. And the way I would just summarize the second point is, don't count yourself out before you count yourself in. If you're going to count yourself out of an opportunity, let at least, and you really desire that opportunity, let there be a tangible reason as to why you are counting yourself out. It could be that you applied to the school and they rejected you, or it could be that you spoke with someone that has gone through that opportunity before and they told you that, oh, maybe you need more work experience, or maybe your GRE score is not better. But don't say, oh, I don't think I'm ready yet. I don't feel like I'm ready. And because of that, you remove yourself from the opportunity. The third thing is just putting in the work to prepare, leveraging resources, reaching out to people. I spoke with so many students. Some of them are now my first degree networks. I have their numbers, I have their Instagram page. Some of them I didn't end up going to their schools, but they really helped me. They poured themselves into me. And the fourth thing I'll mention is what I like to call luck or destiny. Everyone works hard, everyone tries their best, but at the end of the day, we get opportunities that have been destined for us, and we get an element of luck and destiny and just chance plays into things. But before you can get to 0.4, you need to put in 0.1 to 3. Don't just say, oh, because it's chance, I'm not going to get it. Try your best and see how things go. And I'm gonna shut up now and let Silicon add some things.
Don't shut up now, I beg.
No, of course, yeah, I think you covered everything, like all the basic granular areas to look, to think about. When I think about these things, one thing I double down on is the strategy. What's your strategy, right? So you're just coming out of school, you're an undergrad, or you're fresh graduate, or you're working professional. Think about where you are right now and ask yourself, take an inventory of your achievements exactly and say, what have I done in life and where do I need to be? So that's the first thing. And I think that goes back to the point Shakira mentioned about awareness. You have to be aware first. For you to even take it, you have to be aware. How do you get awareness? Who is in your network? Who are you relating with, right? So you can get a Shakira out of, maybe not even a Shakira, maybe someone that has a brother or a sister in an MBA program and you guys can be friends, and it could be like a third-party information, right? Not a direct information with someone in the MBA program. But make sure you know someone that like can give you the motivation you need. They can share resources with you. And so I'm going to say this in another way. So let's say you're aware there's an MBA program that you can go for. I'm currently a finance professional, a consulting professional, whatever you heard. And then try to find people who are in that program who you can talk to. They would give you undiluted private information. So one of my friends was applying to both, and he reached out to me and I'm like, we got this together and we set up like a Google Drive, and like that information that are not out there, that when you put in your application, in your essay, for example, when the admissions person see the information, they're like, oh, wow, like this person knows this, So you want to make sure you are using private information. I know they've spoken a lot about private information, just like anywhere in the world. Anything private gives more value because it is not public, and it is not public for a reason, right? So I would say, make sure you have the right people in your corner. So that's one thing. And in getting the right people, you have to put yourself out there. I came to EduBridge. I didn't know. I mean, maybe I heard of Shakira from CFA Research or something. We didn't go to the same undergrad. But coming to EduBridge program, like, give me a lot more people to reach out to, give me the opportunity to network with more people, right? So you want to make sure you are in the right space, the right place to meet people, not just for MBA, just for anything you want to achieve, job or anything. It just gives you the opportunity to like meet people who are doing different things in life, and then from there you can start to like connect with more people. One of my best friends from undergrad reached out to me that two of his colleagues were applying to both, and because my friend was actually referring them to me, I had to like take an extra time, and I have to make sure that I took care of them because of my friend. So that's another point around referral. So make sure you know people, even if they cannot help you directly, they can actually put you in touch with people that can actually help you with what you're looking to achieve. So that's something I'm gonna say. Beyond all of that, your GRE, GMAT is very important. Your essays are important. But like I said, when you meet the right people, they would guide you through each step. So you want to be the first things first.
Okay, thank you, Olalekan. I'm going to ask you that question as well, but just in a minute. The next question I would ask would be for Adefolari, Balkis, and Oluwatosin, because you guys all have international work experience as well. So I'll ask you a question based on that. But before I do that, Ayobami, I'm going to ask you a question. But so Ayobami, I've asked Booth and Olalekan. So you two, this question is underrating you. How did you get to Harvard? HBS, tell us.
Yeah, sure. Happy to share. So what Shakira said about like being aware, I think I found out like I might have to go for an MBA in 2018. I was still in undergrad, third year. But what I realized is that like a lot of people I met through CFA Research Challenge, and when they were talking to me, they had, some form of like executive education or business education postgraduate. So it was already on my radar. But the bigger problem was that I didn't think I could get into any of the top schools, which is, not crazy if I think about it, right? I didn't think I could get into any of the top schools. I graduated 2019 and just continued working. I was like, okay, maybe I'll go for my master's in UK or something like that. So, like, it was still top of my mind that I needed to get a postgraduate degree. But what point and which school was like another discussion entirely. I was very lucky that I was living with my cousin at the time, and she was applying to business school, and she got into a few business schools. And she got into Darden, and And she was like, yeah, if I can get into that, then I'm very sure you can get into a better school. But even at that point, I still didn't believe I can get into like an M7. So M7 is like top 7 business schools in America. But one thing that like really shifted it for me was when I saw Shakira at Abisinola. She also came into Edinburgh, and everybody gets into M7 schools. I was like, okay, yeah, surely maybe I can do this. But I still struggled, and I remember sending a list of the schools I wanted to apply to Abby. Abby is in Harvard currently. She's in her 2nd year, and she was like, "Why is Harvard not on this list?" I was like, "I don't think I can get into Harvard." And she was like, "Here, don't be stupid. Apply." And she was like, "Apply." And because like so many people were telling me you can do this, and me also seeing people who have done it, gave me a lot of confidence that maybe I should not like write myself off, like Shakira said. And I'm very, very grateful for those people who pushed me to actually apply, because left to me, I wouldn't have applied. And this is just me being honest that sometimes I doubt my own capabilities. And so when people are like, oh, yeah, apply. Interestingly, like I said, I had a call with like somebody who went to Harvard, who had worked in one of the companies I had worked in before, but she had international experience, and she was basically telling me not to dare because she didn't think I had a chance. But I had so many people on the other hand telling me, oh yeah, like definitely apply, and we're going to be behind you. There's one Nigerian guy that I reached out to on LinkedIn, and it was like, yeah, apply. I think another thing for me is that at the time I was applying to business school, I was 24, and a lot of people that I was speaking to were, I was 23, and a lot of people I was speaking to were much older. So like that added extra layer of that for me. But everybody was like, don't worry, we are behind you. And one of the guys I reached out on LinkedIn, like, don't worry, and he reviewed my essay 5 times. He reviewed my essay 5 times. Abby too was very, very supportive in reviewing my essay. You know, I wrote my GRE to make sure like I get a very top score. And the boss I was working with at the time too was very, very helpful. He wrote the best recommendation letter that I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, this is not me. But it was like, yeah, this is you. And it's someone that he has like an Ivy League education as well. They are taking some courses in Harvard Business School. He's like, yeah, like, I think you belong in that type of place, and I'm going to support you every inch of the way. So how I got into Harvard is like a lot of people telling me that I belong there and like supporting me to get there. I think like also like your work experiences, the way you've accumulated your work experience in the past, and like being able to tell a very strong story. But that's like, I think that's like what is needed from everyone, being able to tell a strong story. But the first step is actually believing that you belong there, and that belief allows you to like accumulate everything you need to put in a strong application. Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was powerful.
Can I
Yeah.
say something?
Oh,
So
please, Shakira, go.
yeah, sorry to just jump in. So Abby said something about she saw myself, Lekon, and Abby get into the MBA programs, and we like to call ourselves the Edinburgh. I think we're like M12, or 10 of us, and all of us that also get into those MBA programs, we literally were almost riding on Babatunde's confidence. And I think we all reached out to him at some point, and he said, look, you guys are asking me way too many questions. I'm going to drop all of you into a one Zoom call and come every week and ask me questions on your MBA applications. And those conversations and the guest speakers he brought on that call completely changed the way we saw ourselves and the way we approached the MBA, our MBA application. And what you said about age, I also felt that. I was like, well, I don't think they'll take me, but at the end of the day, I think we riding on Babatunde's confidence to apply. Most of us got into top schools, and then people saw that and were like, their father, we're also going to apply. And it's just beautiful to see how one person's belief in a group of people have such ripple effect. So just shouting out to Babatunde again on that.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. I'm just calculating how much money I'm going to charge all of you. The way I just mentioning my name. But I'm just calculating, this invoice is dollars I'm going to charge you people. Anyways, I'm just learning so many things on this call. Like somebody said, don't be stupid. Somebody said their father. Oh my God, I'll go and visit everybody's father now in this place. But yeah, I'm just listening to that. I just thought that was really powerful. Just having a lot of really smart, remarkable people, and how our environment sometimes can condition us to think that we are not able to aspire to certain opportunities, right? and just having people just saying, "Oh, I've seen Laleko is in this school, but he's working at Bank of America. Me too, I can do it. At least all of us we did is 1-on-1 together. She got in, me too, I got in. Me too, I apply for this job. Sometimes it could be that kind of confidence, right, that would get you to apply to different things. Now, I know somebody mentioned Abi, you have to report yourself. Somebody mentioned your name, so I checked the list and I saw Abdurrauf, I saw Abi. So I'm going to call you guys at some point. But Abi, I saw that you were encouraging, you are hyping somebody to attest. So just report yourself at some point, like just to see you. I should also mention that it was such a big pleasure working with that group. I know I used to abuse them a bit, but I also thought they were extremely proactive, and they were also a very accomplished bunch, right? You can push people to do something, but if the person, think of leverage as multiplication. If somebody is 1, I give it them times 20, it's still 20. If somebody is 100, I give it them times 20, that's, I don't know, 2,000. I don't know. Just do the calculation yourself, right? So it just speaks again to some of the qualities people have been speaking on this call. I am gonna switch now to the people who also are working. Balkis works at Bank of America. People are killing themselves to get into Bank of America, right? Deloitte. Oluwatosin, you mentioned that experience with Deloitte in the Middle East, Qatar, and I think it's Gulf countries, Kuwait and Qatar. Adefolani works at InfraCredit. InfraCredit is Nigeria's first infrastructure credit insurance company. It was a big deal starting InfraCredit in Nigeria, and it was just a big. It unlocked the debt capital market insurance system. So you guys work at international companies. You face a global labor market, right? The quality, the people you work with are excellent. I know that. Based on the people I kind of see, and also the rigor and the quality that your work is held to is very high standards. It is extremely high standard. You can't hide in these places. So I'm going to start from Balkis, then Oluwatosin, then Adefolari, in whichever order. You guys can take it, whichever order. I don't want to spotlight Balkis. She's always taking the first one, but whichever order, right? Adefolari can go first. Oluwatosin can go first. Can you tell us the experience of working in such global environments? What has that been for you in terms of what has been your experience? What have you learned, and what do you think we can piggyback off that your career or your experience in such highly sought after global workplaces? Anybody can start. That pause where somebody's like, go first.
Okay, I'm happy to go first.
Go.
Okay. Yeah, so I think my answer to this question will be incomplete without really talking about how I even landed the job in the first place. I think that will give a full picture. So for context, I applied to Bank of America like 3 times before I got it the 4th time. So when I spoke about rejection the other time, this would be a very good example of such. So I was rejected like 3 times. I've been applying since when I was an undergrad, and this brings back some of the things that everyone have mentioned on this call: information. So at OAU, Unilag, and some other schools, you get so many information about all of these internship opportunities, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and many of them like that. So I've been applying, and I was applying to investment banking. And this brings me back to also something, I think it was Oluwatosin that mentioned it. Sometimes we put ourselves in the box, like everybody mentions investment banking, and you're like, it looks like if I study economics, if I study finance, the only place I have to be looking at is investment banking. And this was also, the kind of what I did as well. I was applying to investment banking, but I mean, lo and behold, I'm not doing investment banking today, but I'm also doing something I like thoroughly enjoy. So yeah, I applied the 4th time. I applied to corporate banking instead. So what I do today is more of corporate banking. It brings together like treasury management solution, liquidity, complex liquidity management structures for large institutions. We are talking about institutions with annual revenue of about $2 billion. So these are like the kind of clienteles that we look after in the corporate banking space. And I really enjoy this, and what I've just realized is that looking back at how I landed at the job the fourth time, what I did differently was speaking to people that already landed that opportunity. So I'm going to spotlight Ife Aderomu, and I met him during EduBridge as well. So this was someone that had done his internship as well with Bank of America in the division that I decided to apply into, which is different from investment banking that I've been applying to. And I was like, okay, this is a totally new space. I never knew that this part of banking, or I mean, I never knew about this. I never knew it existed. What is this about? So I reached out to Ife. He was able to put me through. He was able to tell me about it. And what Wahab said, private information. To be honest, that's a very key thing. When you speak to people, you know, that have gone through what you are trying to go through, you get good information from them, information that will set you apart. So when I got to my interview, the interviewer was even asking me, how come you knew about, how do you know about all of this thing? You know Bank of America so well. And she was so surprised that I knew the product. I knew the team as if I was already there. And how did I achieve this? Just by speaking with someone that was, you know, able to put me through, able to give me that information. And as Babatunde said, when you give someone that is just 120 times something, I mean, I had it in me already. I was like super like focused. I am going to get this job this time around. So it was you know, all of those that really helped me to get that job. Sorry if I'm speaking too long. I just wanted to like set the context and the backdrop for to answer that question that you mentioned, Babatunde. So as I was saying, so what I do is corporate banking, selling treasury solutions to clients, and the clients that I'm focused on clients in Europe, Middle East. This is going to mention the Middle East, but I also cover very largely the Middle Eastern clients, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait. And I also like look after some clients myself. And this is going to bring me to answer that question that you mentioned, Babatunde. When you get to the global stage, how do you put yourself forward? How do you, I think one of the most difficult things doing in the global stage is trying to fit into the culture yet stand out. I think that's it's sort of difficult because you want to be yourself. At the same time, you're working in a space where, you know, people cannot really relate to where you're coming from. So you need to be able to not lose yourself, but at the same time, you need to be able to, you know, still relate well with people. So I think people management is very, very key when you are trying to, you know, get opportunities in the global space. And when you're already working in a global space, what will continue to help you is how well you're able to manage people, and also how well you are able to you know, put yourself together and speak for yourself. So we Africans, when we get to global stage, what I've noticed is that we are kind of shy about what we've achieved. But forget it, if we meet year 1, year 2 analysts that are from Cambridge, Harvard, they speak about themselves like they're so loud about little things that I mean, I do these things very well, and I might be shy and I might not, they will blow it like they've done the world. Like, so you need to be able to tell your story in a very impactful way, like have that pastel, like we say it. Like, you just need to continue to have that in the global space. And another thing I'm going to mention is, you know, trying to bring people along with you. And when I say bring people along with you is, you know, we Africans, when we get to some places, you know, we should not forget home. Like, someone helped me, for example, in a way to help me get the job I have today. Also, like trying to help other people. So personally, for me, I've had a lot of people reach out to me on LinkedIn when they want to apply to Bank of America. I try my best. I might not be able to answer everyone, but I try my best to, you know, give information to those that will ask. And also, if you're already there, try to help as many people as possible. I think that will be a very great for us to continue to build, you know, ourselves in that space. And as someone that has personally sat in rooms to interview interns that want to join Bank of America, I'm going to give some few tips as well and things that I've noticed. So I was part of the recruitment process like last year to get graduates into Bank of America. And I'll say that interviewing graduates from University College London, from all these top schools, and also some people applying directly from Nigeria. Part of the things I see that, I'm like, oh no, we can do better. Like when you interview, we shouldn't blame our background every time, but I think we should also, there are a lot of information that should help us, sort of think globally, not just. So you're asking about trends, and this Anna person applying from Nigeria she just knows about the economic trends in Nigeria and not really about what's happening in the global space. If you are applying to global opportunities, if you are focused outside of Nigeria, you need to think globally. You need to be able to read and consume materials that are more global focused. So you need to think beyond domestic. So this is speaking with directly now to maybe undergrads that want to apply to internships to get global opportunities. So try to consume information that are beyond the shores of Nigeria. Try to network with people on LinkedIn that already maybe got the job, done the internship to put you through. If you are already a grad and you're trying to apply as well, sometimes as Shakira mentioned, don't just put yourself away from the equation. Just try. I applied to Bank of America. I was already working 2 years experience with Alpha African Advisory. So I was not an undergrad, but I still applied. I think I was the only graduate that they've ever selected, or that they ever selected during my time for the internship, right? So I would have just taken myself out that, oh, this is for undergrads, I should not apply, but I still put myself there. I still applied for it and I got it. So I hope this is not too much, it's not too long, but I just thought to put everything as condensed as possible.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. I see Ayobami is raising a hand. Just give me 1 minute to see. Ayobami, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, thank you very much, Balikis, for sharing your experience. I just wanted to say, she has walked us through our own personal journey, but most importantly is also finding where those opportunities are. For instance, I also went through the Bank of America process maybe 4 times, never got the opportunity, or never got in. I always get to the final stage. But you should check out SEO Africa. I think they have Instagram, LinkedIn. For MBA programs, check the network. All these opportunities are usually posted there. Also, speak to alumni in your school, because I know that apart from SEO Africa, even other banks apart from Bank of America, like Jeffries, they are taking people straight from Nigeria. IFC, some of the international opportunities are now open to Nigerians as well. So one thing is also looking for where to apply and getting where to apply.
Okay. Thank you, Ayobami. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Oluwatosin now, then I'll be following after that.
Yes, thanks. I think Balikis and Ayobami have said some of the things that I would love to say, and I just want to emphasize on the being getting the right information, and that is very important. And I think if there's anything that's really helped in my own time was having, so there's something I call multi-level networking. And multi-level networking is that so there are people ahead of you, there are people on your level, and there are people below you, right? And what I notice amongst a lot of guys is that they tend to really focus on the guys below them or maybe on their level and not network upwards, and for leadership or for opportunities, you also need to learn to network upwards. Now, for the guys on your level, which I notice, which I also tend to try and work on. So, for instance, we go for a meeting, and when I connect with maybe the team lead or the head of the maybe investment bank or something, I go look for this person that is next in command, who is likely to be on my level, or maybe the analyst or the associate, and I network with that person. Now, the reason is because henceforth, I may not be able to disturb your boss, but I can disturb you after all. Right? And when you form friendship with people like that, you find that most time when there are opportunities, they are the first to reach out to you. Say, oh, you just got a proposal now. Can you just put this thing and put this, something like that. So, and that has helped so well. So they are not able to reach your boss. The next person they reach out is to you. So multi-level networking very important. Then I'll now talk about my own experience and how I was able to navigate getting a job outside the shores of Nigeria. For instance, I think the first was around 2018. I was working repeatedly with the Ghana team, and so there's just this team agility, there's this team collaboration skills, or maybe quality that they noticed in me, and when it was time that the opportunity came up, after all, you've been working with them before, so you just plug and play, so that was how I was able to move at first. Then I think coming back, I had a lot of friends also who were now getting opportunities abroad. I need to mention that that time was really not it was not really in vogue to see people, getting UK or US or Canada. It was something really new around 2018, 2019, so, but then I got a number of my friends. I need to spotlight my friend. I'm not sure she's on the call. Her name is Titi Lokwe Adigbola. This is a fantastic individual. Yeah, so I think sometime around 2019, she just called me and said, "Tosin, I got EY Island." I said, "Oh, I never knew that the UK firm will give the opportunity to someone who is in the advisory space. All I thought was that you need to be an auditor before you could get it, but she got it, and oh wow, then I can get it too." Then how did you get it? Then I had to start asking her questions, and then I started applying. Then I kept an Excel sheet. Then we created a group as well. Some of us that are really interested in working abroad and likes, we created a group. We're sharing resources together. Then I applied. I usually tell people I applied to over 150 firms abroad. Then I got to interview with the Dubai office of Ernst & Young, and I think the person that interviewed me actually felt that I was good, right? And I think one thing that I also need to mention here, which is very important, is I was doing things that were far beyond my level as an associate, right? And as I mentioned that I was in Ghana in 2019. I was leading 2 bank major assignments, and it was quite tough, but so I was doing things that were beyond my level. I was learning. Interestingly, we had people in my level ahead of me who had left the firm, but I had to step into their shoes. And that's another thing. When people say, "Oh, my senior is leaving," and they're just discouraged, that's an opportunity for you to step upwards and also get to know better. So in the interview, for instance, and that was also take me back to what Balike said about being really aware and having a global perspective. The questions I was being asked were around the Saudi Aramco deal that was in thing that was in 2019. I was able to talk about most of those deals and most of what was about and the likes. And interestingly, my team in EY then were actually also working on the deal. I think all the big fours were involved in one way or the other. And the man was really enthused, and he even got to know that I knew more about. I also knew my work very deeply. Now, and that was how I got in. I remember when I got to Saudi, for instance, and I was talking to my colleagues, and they were like, "Oh, we can't believe you can't even speak Arabic. So the only language you can speak is English." So how did you get in? That was the next question. I said, "Oh, this person interviewed me." And "Oh, okay." So the partner that interviewed me could only speak English. So you are the second person on the team that only speaks English. Every other person here can speak 3-4 English. They could speak Lebanese, they could speak French, they could speak Arabic, they could speak English, and that takes me to the next thing. So it's important that we also pay attention to, even though I'm still working on it. I mean, I'm a work in progress. That we also pay attention to other life qualities or other life skills that we need to have. And that's ability to speak beyond one language, and ability to speak beyond one language, and that's really helpful. So if I talk about some of the challenges I faced while I was there, and one of them would be the language barrier. There were times on the call when they would just switch to Arabic, and I'm like, okay, what are they discussing here? Yeah, but another thing again that I think really worked for me was I was quite confident of what I knew. In fact, they were shocked to know that I had worked on some deals. Like the man had to call me like 3 times to say, did you see that you've worked on vendor due diligence? I said, yes, not one, not two, not three. So I think most times what we face is that the people you're working with can't read your mind. Your interviewer can't read your mind. So we want you to be as open as possible while you're telling your story. Be authentic, but tell your story. And we all must learn to tell our stories. There's a saying that says there's a saying that goes to that says until the lion learn to tell their stories, the story of the hunter always glorify the hunter. So I interview you for 30 minutes. I only have 30 minutes to interview you, but you need to learn to tell your story within those 30 minutes. Unfortunately, we don't have more than that opportunity to hear from you. But within those 30 minutes, are you able to let me know the skills that you've got? And that was what I was able to do in many of my interviews with the Middle East. And it was really helpful. I think one thing I also need to mention, which is very important about global opportunities, is to try and understand the nuances of those environments. I work with folks where in conversations I was very careful because I was in a highly conservative environment, and I had to learn to eat certain things, to like meat and what they call this thing now, ram meat. I had to
Kebab.
kebab. even though many of the conversations that we were having, I really didn't like it, but I just had to endure. And as time goes on, you'll enjoy those things. Try and enjoy, try and be I call it adaptive quotient, right? Or be more, I call it cultural intelligence, right? What I've noticed with time is that we have individuals who have this academic intelligence, or maybe, but then the industry is asking beyond just your academic intelligence. The industry is asking about your cultural intelligence, your native intelligence. I think one thing that they really find interesting about me was that I knew so much about the GCC region as though I had lived there for years. And that's one thing about me. When I go to a new area, I would research everything. I would not only do that, I'm that kind of person that I would go to the markets, go to the streets, get to know people. And it's as if you have lived there for more than a year or for 10 years. And that's one feedback I often get, Yeah, and it helps you also to be careful with the way you interact with your team. So I think one thing that I was very careful about too, there was this news about the Shia Muslim and the likes. I was very careful not to touch on that. And I also got feedbacks about maybe a Lebanese talking about how, I had a friend there that told me about how one of his uncle was killed in Nigeria. I said, oh, okay, so I hope I'm safe. I'm not talking about, all these things put together. You are careful about the utterances you are making in the office. And you are not just pushing out some political views or holding some very strong religious views. I'm a Christian. Christian is not allowed in the GCC region. Christianity is not allowed particularly in that aspect of it. There was no church there, So all of those things, being really culturally aware, being beyond having good adaptability quotient, very important, and networking, multi-level networking. Those are things that really helped me too. And maybe also need to mention that I was greatly inspired by the network of friends I kept throughout my career journey. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Oluwatosin, I'll ask Ade Folarin now to unmute. So after Ade Folarin, I will have the audience ask questions. So I know I've kept you guys. This gist is too sweet. Sorry, just forgive me. I'm just enjoying myself. But I'll ask Ade Folarin to speak. Then I'll get audience to ask a few questions. Then I'll invite Olaide. But Ade Folarin, go for it.
Okay. Thank you, Babatunde. Yeah, I think my story is a bit different. In terms of, I think first thing is, I think you need to prepare ahead of the opportunity. That's the first thing. You need to prepare ahead of the opportunity, because when the opportunity comes, you might not have that chance to sort of prepare, right? So that it's almost like, plug and play. You already just assume that the opportunity is there and then you prepare before the opportunity comes. Like I said, I was in the insurance industry. I was in coronation actually, for 2 years. And I just thought to myself, like, I don't think I can do insurance again. I'm tired. You know, um, like there are certain things I don't like about the industry, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think for me, like I've always want to do something different. Finance, investment looks like my thing, right? So when I was still in coronation, I that was when I heard about EduBridge. I think I not like heard like that was when I just consciously say, okay, this time around, I think I need to attend EduBridge, right? That was 2019. And when I did, I was able to get to meet different people. I think Ayobami was also in my set, was she was in my class as well in EduBridge. And different information. Like EduBridge gives you um that information that you can leverage on. It might not give you everything, right? You still need to self-develop yourself. But that's the initial information, that's initial network of because most of the people in my class then was either in investment banking or finance, different stuff. It looks like I was the only one in insurance, and I was like, "Ah, God, am I in the right place?" Right. Fast forward to when I finished, EduBridge, and I think within EduBridge, that was when I got to find out about this CFA investment certificates, the ones that is not paid, right? So I took that course, and I didn't even know that all of this was setting me up for the opportunity, So I saw like a message on the group that, oh, there's a company looking for XYZ analysts so that they can start internship. But the company was not disclosed, right? And I was like, okay, I don't think I have the requirement, right? But I was like, let me put in for this. Let me try. So I did that, and boom, then I was invited you know, to the to the first level of assessment. Yeah, I think it was financial model, Excel, and all the stuff. Like I was like, okay, I didn't know all of these things before EduBridge, right? I don't know how to build a model. My Excel skills was not that great, right? Because I remember when I joined Coordination, someone mocked me and like, I think you need to update your Excel skills, right? Now, like, I've already done all those preparation. Now I'm in a position where I need to put all those things into use, right? So that assessment came handy because it was just few months after I finished EduBridge, right? So I was able to move past the assessment. I mean, for real, I wasn't positive, right? I was like, okay, I think because the assessment looks like my real test, like my first real test when it comes to building a model, stuff like that. Then subsequently, I got an email that okay, I'm moving to the next phase. Then I had to, interview with, the hiring manager. So when I got in, um, after the whole interview, I think selected like five people. Um, I mean, even given that, like, I don't even know the company yet. I was like, where's this company? Now we're now invited to meet the CEO of the firm, and then I think it was on a Friday thereabout. So I left my my then current place of work, coordination, to the place, and then I met some other people, you know, and I think we're just five. So we had a brief section, and then subsequently, the offer came. Now at that point, I was I was in between, several decisions, and I think this is where you need a sponsor comes in again, because what I was being offered, as an intern is almost similar to my current pay, in in coordination then. And then, was 6 months. So that means you're not even sure if you get it eventually because it was just an internship, right? And remember, I did 2 years in coordination, so I was also already looking at my, first promotion, right, in coordination. So I was like, okay, would I leave a job where I already have 2 years experience? I'm already moving into getting my first promotion for a job that, you know, is an internship for 6 months, and you're not even sure eventually if you get it, right? Then I had to talk to. I have different mentor. Then like I had to go all the way. I think one of my mentors there stayed very far. Like I had to go all the way to meet him in person. Like this is a serious conversation. There's not something we have to discuss on phone, right? And he gave me the guidance. Like, okay, if you really want to transition, right, this is the opportunity. So whatever it takes for you to move from being an intern to getting into the full-time role, this is where you need to, immerse yourself and then prove uh, your ability, right? So it was almost as if I was taking a bet on myself. Right. Now, like fast forward into when I get to it, there's so many things I still had to learn because I was coming from a totally different industry, right? So even though some people would say it's still close to insurance, but is a different ball game. It's like you are mixing, investment banking work with, you know, um, carrying risk, stuff like that. So it's an additional level of analysis that you need to do, right? Don't forget that my financial model skills is still like it's still like at infant level. But yeah, I had to go through the process. I had to learn a lot, and I think one of the things that also, stood out for me was engaging people, like people already in the system, I just try find time with them, tell them about my background. And then they started sharing different materials with me, right? Even while I was still doing the internship, right? So by the time I transitioned into full-time role, um, I didn't directly go get into the origination and structuring thing, I was forced in strategy, right? And I was doing strategy work and also new product development, right? So essentially then I had like two bosses because there's a guy leading new product, there's a different guy leading the strategy, but I had to work with them together, right? And we came up with this renewable energy, right? Product. It was a new thing then in infra credit. By the time we're done creating the product, I was like, okay, now we don't have staff to actually drive deal execution um under this new product. Like, okay. So my MD came to me, I was like, "Ah, I think you would have to move into origination and structuring and you have to be part of deal execution. I was like, okay, I've not done this before. They're like, okay, we need to just get one more staff within the firm and then we can start. So we got an AVP and myself, right? So I was still barely like an analyst because I just transitioned from internship and then we started. So few months down the line, the AVP, I think she got another offer and she was ready to go. And this is where the can-do attitude comes into place. So before then, I think it's more like I've been preparing for that opportunity. I've been reading a lot. I've been making a lot of different research about, renewable energy, trying to, really learn about the sector, Um, there's this book I used to read there. My boss will always tell me that. So anytime we have any issue, right, my boss will always tell me that "See, you have a reference book because the sector wasn't something InfoCredit was doing before, right? Some of our other products were majorly surrounded around corporate financing, right? But for a renewable energy product in Nigeria,
Sorry, Adefolari, did you mute yourself?
No.
No, you can
No,
speak. You were muted for a while, but I mean, you're muted again.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay, maybe they are
Okay.
telling us to round up. Maybe they are telling us it's our time. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you left me. Where I left you guys. I was talking about when my direct manager left, the AVP.
Okay, yeah, you said
So
you had to step into the opportunity. You have to step into that
yeah,
leadership.
exactly. So and I think it came around the time where we're almost trying to close our first deal, and there are so many questions around, um what do we need to do at this point, as a firm? Do we need to hire someone to keep on driving the sector, or do we need to bring other people from the different sector? But I think my boss, I would say, it took a bet on me, and I was like, okay, we're adding more people to the team, but for now, you'll be the only one to keep pushing the transaction, right? And then, yeah, we were able to close our first deal. I think that was back in September 2022, right? And I will say the rest is the story, because currently I now sort of lead the sector in info credit, working with a team of about 7, and also now sort of report directly to the head of origination and structuring and the CEO. So it was an interesting journey, but I think the key thing is, again, preparing ahead of opportunities.
Okay, thank you so much. Like, thank you for saying you now head the team, so I can send you some CVs to think about and to look through. Rounding off, I'm going to do a few things. First, it always gives me a lot of joy to see Edubridge alums. So I was listening to you. I was listening, but I was also checking the sheets. I was also checking the people on the call. So I saw Shakir Moreno, I saw Miriam Olabode, Lawal. I'm just hailing my people, please. Just Lawal, I saw Oluwatobi Fasikpe, I saw Ifeoluwa, Olukowi, Gafar, Fatima, Emmanuel Faith, I saw you, Mayokon, Awe, Viviana Loze, Shemaye, Abi, I've seen you already. So I'm just so happy to see you guys. So thank you so much for joining. And I know we can always take this further, but Edubridge alumni oh yeah, Philip Bakari, I've seen you. So Edubridge alumni they just make me happy. So I'm so happy. I'm just so happy I can see them. And now, if I didn't mention your name, I see you too. But I just sort of like scan through this. I am going to give people the opportunity to ask questions. But before we do that, if I didn't mention your name, you're not an Edubridge alum. If you are, let's say you've not done Edubridge. If you've not done Edubridge before, just put your hand on your chest right now. Just do what I'm doing. Just put your hand on your chest and say, I will apply for the next Edubridge Academy program. Say it loud. I'm not even hearing you. If you've not done Edubridge, you just put your hand on your chest and say, I will. Oh, Emmanuel, I can see you. I will apply for the next Edubridge Academy program. Say it like 5 times. Don't stop. Just be saying it. Just be saying it. So that's the first part. The second task I have to give you is, I know you have to go to Edubridge. The second thing I'm going to give you is, now it's good for you not to do Edubridge Academy alone. Think about it. Only you don't do Edubridge. How about all this network we're talking about? This one call, you know where I'm going. So after you say that you will do, Philip Bakari will sponsor 1 person. I'm so happy. We'll follow up with you. Sponsor 5 now. So we will. So first one, so you tell that to yourself. But I also want you to write a list of 5 people. Write 5 people and say, it's not good for only me to do Edubridge Academy. So say, I will tell 5 of my friends about Edubridge Academy. So this works in 2 ways. If you have done it before, Edubridge, I'm still coming to you. Your own 5 people are people you are going to say, I am going to recommend 5 people. 5. It's always good to do things like 5, right? Maybe, 5. If 10 is fine as well, but so you will say, the first one is me, I will do Edubridge Academy. So tell that to yourself. So Bolu from Edubridge will reaching out to you and say, you remember that you promised that you do Edubridge. So very good, Juliana. So I will apply for the next Edubridge Academy program. So that's the first one. So the second part is I will invite 5 people to Edubridge Academy program. Would there be an online class? Yes, we currently have online classes. Oluwanyinka Julius, if you're in school, I will actually encourage you to do Edubridge Academy when you're in school. I'll never forget Olalekan Wahab. Olalekan Wahab made us to break our law in Edubridge. We didn't used to admit people in university before. Olalekan Wahab said, I must do this Edubridge. I can't wait until I graduate. Iman, Gabriel is at Wharton now. So 2 things. I will apply to Edubridge Academy next program. Second one is I will bring 5 of my friends. If you've done it before, I will also recommend 5 people. Balikis, I'm looking at you too. Into your deal. Right? I'm just joking, but I will recommend 5 people to Edubridge Academy program. By the way, Bayo from OAU, I saw you. Bayo, Shakiru, Bayo, I saw you. So Bayo, I was going to hail you as well. So good to see you on the call. Now I'm going to give, let's say 2 people. We're a bit over time. 2 people. People have been raising their hands. Forgive me. I did not listen to all of you. This gist was not too sweet. But I'll give 2 people the opportunity to ask questions. If you have a burning question, so let's think of a question that you want to ask and nobody has answered. We didn't ask that question. We didn't cover it. Or someone said something that kind of stuck to your enthusiasm or your interest. You can ask the question to everybody. I mean, time is like we're pushing time now, but I want to hear from one person just to assuage my guilt because I did not take your question. So if you have any question that you want to ask, so Ire Tumeninu Odene, I saw your name first. Sorry if I murdered your name, sorry. So Ire Tumeninu, okay, good, go for it.
I was asking, is Edubridge only for students in institutions or final year students?
Okay, this is a question I can quickly answer. Edubridge Academy is for everybody. When I say everybody, like if you are in university, there's a program that you can do. My sense is we have programs in Lagos for the more immersive physical program that you can have, but you can also join the online program. You'll see in the chat box that they're dropping links to all of those programs. So there's also programs you can do if you are still in university. That's also a program that you can do. We can also reach out to you directly because we have campus programs that are starting now. So we might also be able to schedule something in your university. So Irituminu, we can also reach out to you to see if there are also arrangements to schedule something. I felt like the guys in Unilag enjoyed that thing more than other schools, but we might be able to schedule something with you. So does that address your question?
Thanks for the information.
Yes. So I'll take the next person was Nusirat. I think I got the name. Was Nusirat? Yes, Nusirat Yusuf. Can you go for it? Nusirat, I know you raised your hand.
You are muted, by the way.
Oh, is the person speaking?
No.
Hi, good afternoon, Babatunde.
Hi, Nusirat.
Hi. No.
I can hear you.
So, the question I want to ask is it's not about Edubridge, but I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a question that is directed to the speakers now.
Definitely, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to ask that why does MBA look like the next step after gathering 2-3 years experience in the industry? Are there other things that could be done are there other things that could be done? Or why not MSc? Why MBA for everyone? Just wanted to get that understanding.
I'm gonna let. That's a great question, Nusrat. I'm not going to answer that question. So, one of the MBA or non-MBA people, because I even like this panel, right? Because we have 3 MBAs and 3 non-MBAs actually. So, any of you guys can go for it.
Can I mention something, Babatunde, on this question, just as a non-MBA person? Yeah, bringing
sure,
that
that's what I said. Go for it.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Yeah, so I think this question is very brilliant, Nusrat, because it's something that I've also asked myself, right? When do am I going to go for an MBA at some point? So just to for me now, I have 5 years of industry experience. 2 years was in financial advisory. 3 years is in corporate banking, which is what I'm doing currently at Bank of America. So like 5 years cumulative experience, but 3 years of experience in the global space, specifically in Bank of America. So I'm thinking, looking at my career, I'm like, okay, when do I really need to go for an MBA? I think this question is more about you yourself, what you want and what you want for yourself and what you want for your career. You know, we have this mindset of following the bandwagon most times, doing things that every other person is doing, but you need to think about yourself and think about what you want to achieve for your career. So for me now, I'm taking it like the work I'm doing, where I'm working is more like giving me that global experience already that I need. So do I really need to go for an MBA right now? I don't think so. I think for me, I'm still going to, continue to build my experience. I'm getting a lot of exposure, a lot of visibility that I need to get for my career right now. So I think I'm on a good track. So I think it's about yourself. No one is going to tell you the answer on this call. So it's about you thinking about what you want. And sometimes because of the position we are, you might not be able to get the full answer for yourself. And that's why you need people, you need mentors, you need people that you can speak to that are far ahead of you that could help you see it. But at the end of the day, you answer that question yourself. Do I go for an MBA? Do I go for an MNC? What do I want? Do I want global opportunities? Then maybe an education route might be good for you. Do you want global opportunities? Because most times now, internships in all of these banks, like the opportunity that I got, is more for undergrad. So as a graduate, you'll be thinking, okay, if I want to get opportunity in the global space, do I go study abroad first, then I can get an internship or I can get a full-time role? So that's a different route. So you can do MSc, you can do MBA to achieve it, but I will leave the MBA folks to talk more about this area. But I'm just speaking personally for myself. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to answer that question yourself. What do you want to be the next stage for yourself in your career?
Okay, thank you very much. Balkis. So I have many names in front of me, and I'm just doing shakara like, who will I even call? But I know Abby is not on this panel, and I would like to hear what Abby thinks about this as well. Abby, I see you raising your hand.
Yes, hi, Babatunde. Nice to see you again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Nice to see you as well.
Okay, yeah, sure. This is very exciting. Anyways, seeing everyone. I think the why MBA question is actually a very good question. And it's something I thought about. And I think the way I sort of came to the conclusion that an MBA was right for me at the time I went for my MBA, or in 2022, was basically I was working at AIM and I was like, okay, I went to the company's website and every other like infrastructure fund I knew, and they all had like MSc programs or like MBA programs, and they were international degrees. And I was like, oh, okay. So I definitely love Obafemi Awolowo University, but that can't be the only thing on my resume. Right. So I then was like considering both the MSc and the MBA program. I think for the MSc program, I thought about the UK and the US, and it was more about the fact that once you finish an MSc program, and I already had like 3-4 years experience out of undergrad, but once you finish an MSc program, you're going straight to an analyst role, right, in a company. And for me, that was finance because I was already doing finance. But if you do an MBA program, you go to an associate role, right? So I was like, yeah, I can't have 3 years of work experience, go for an MSc program. And in the US, an MSc program is also 2 years, right? I can't do that and then go back to like an entry level position. So that's how I sort of thought about the MSc MBA route. And I think a very unique thing that an MBA also has is, as opposed to an MSc that you're doing you're focused on one particular area of like concentration, the MBA is very general management focused. And you can sort of make your bread or make your food in any way you want. Like you come here and you find people that are doing so many different things. They've done so many different things that they want to continue to do like various things after the MBA program. So you have people that are going to tech, you have people that are going to finance, you have people that are going to HR, you have people that are starting their businesses, you have people that are doing VT, PE, so many different flavors of things in so many sectors. So if you're thinking about it from the perspective of, I want to make a pivot also, aside the fact that, oh, you want to move from Nigeria, Africa to like the US, UK, or whatever country, if you're also thinking about it that, oh, I've done maybe finance for a few years and I don't think I want to do this, I want to do something else in like retail or like the beauty space or something very different or very niche, I feel like an MBA is a very good place to sort of come and sort of explore the different things that you have. Yes, a separate conversation you can have is, as an international student, there might be limited flexibility in terms of how much you can explore because you have to think about visas and things like that. But like I feel like the MBA program sort of gives you those flavor of opportunities because you have, and when you go to like a good MBA program, you have so many companies just coming to talk about the things they do. You have so many, like you have access to like a wide range of alumni network that you can leverage and just have conversations with people, and they can sort of help you think about like how to chart your path. So I think it's like a very the MSc feels like one flavor of ice cream, while the MBA program just feels like multiple flavors, and you can sort of chart like sort of curate the experience that you want. So that's how I sort of think about it.
Yeah, thanks, Abby.
Okay.
I was going to say most of what she has said anyways, but I'll just go back to start from where Balki's started from, which is not everybody will do an MBA program, and that's fine. But if you have an idea of what you want to do, there are two people I'll speak to. If you know what you want to do, and you know that, oh, I want to continue to be a finance and investment professional in my own case, but I don't want to be a Nigerian finance and investment professional. I want to be a global finance and investment professional. And I know that the BSc I have from Unilag will not get me access to some opportunities. Unilag is a great school. I love Unilag. I love the location, but I know that there are some doors it cannot open. And I know that there are some doors that even the CFA certification I am on the way to getting will also not open some doors to me. So I kind of knew that, okay, I think the next thing for me to do would be an MBA. And it was just because, one, I didn't want to be a Nigerian professional. I wanted to be a global professional. And there are some doors that, trust me, you need some global brands to open some doors for you. Whether you will get the opportunity or not, at least let the door open first. That's one. I can categorically say that I probably would not have gotten into Apollo, like one of the biggest PE firms in the world, from RMB, even though it was the same person that went from RMB to CBS. RMB was my work experience. And most of what we did in school, honestly, I was not even listening half of the time, some of those first year classes. So basically, it's still the same Shakira, with the difference between my resume pre-Apollo and post-Apollo was just that Columbia Business School was on it. So if that is what you are thinking, it's a very expensive route, but I believe it to pay for itself. Like even from the salary I saw during my summer, I said, this MBA is paying for itself already. I love it. But if on the second hand you want to pivot, you're like, oh yeah, you know what? I don't enjoy what I do. I've tried to get into this career from my workplace. It's not working. I want to pivot to another career. The MBA also gives you another opportunity. And Abby has already spoken a lot about that already. But if you now try and you're like, I've applied to like 7 times, I didn't get into an MBA program, then there may be other ways you can explore. And that is why we have people like Mr. Tosin here. He's doing very well in his job. He's probably going to hopefully be a partner soon in Deloitte. And he may or may not do an MBA, and he will still do very well in his career. So at the end of the day, we all try the different routes we have access to, and we hope that one of them works for us at the end of the day.
Okay. Sorry, I think I'm wait, Tosin, please. I will not allow you to drag any other school than me. I did jump. You know how many times I wrote jump? All these good schools, you are now dragging them because of, right? Oluwatosin, I know you wanted to say something, right? But I'll let Oluwatosin speak, then we'll round off this part. Oluwatosin, you go now, but I'll let you go before we round off this part. But you guys, it wasn't just paining me. It pained me before I enter OAU. You are now calling OAU like, you can even call you like, I've never complained. But Oluwatosin, you will go now. After Oluwatosin, I'll take one more question. Then we will call it a day because we're overshot time a bit. So Oluwatosin, I'll let you contribute to this. Then I'll take one more question. Can we do that? Oluwatosin.
Right, and I'll be fast with it. I think the ladies have said, very important. They've given very important points. I think at some point in your leadership or in your career, you should take some leadership courses. Very important. I can spotlight. I can talk about Paiwedoni, for instance. At some point in his career, he had to go for some leadership courses. And one thing you find, what I tried to do was I went through the the profile of most people I consider, I mean, the top guys in the investment banking space or in the finance space or any space that you can think of, what you find is that they just have this degree that that separates them from the pack, that differentiates them, and it's very important. I need to mention it again, like what Bonaboy will say. You go explain that no evidence. You get my point? Yeah. So we know that you are technically sound. We know you do have all of this knowledge, but without the right education, without the right certificates, once you put your CV out there, you are rejected. I know for leadership roles, and I need to cite this thing very importantly. My boss, where I work currently, is the Africa leader of professional advisory, right? And if there's anything that I know, if he had not got, would have made it impossible for him to get the African leadership role, is that he had, if there's anything that he had got that made him get to some of those things, apart from the fact that he's a fantastic guy and everything, he's got the right education, the global certificates, right? He's got the MSc, he's got the CFA, he's got 2 executive MBA degrees to his credit, and several other leadership courses. There's a way that when you have these things, it just helps you, it just makes the discussion easier. Right. And for those of us that are in the industry, please don't put me in that category. Yeah, it's possible that I still have an MBA. That's not totally written off. Or if at all I'm able to go for an MBA, I probably would do an executive MBA, or I'll probably take a number of other leadership courses. There are loads of leadership courses out there. But you are a better leader when you go through certain curriculum. There's a curriculum that comes with CFA. The CFA has its own curriculum. You go through that body of knowledge. It refines you through the process. There's a curriculum. There's something that MBA does to you. It refines you through a process as well. There are immersion courses. There are networking opportunities that you can have. There's something I call clubbing. I call it clubbing because you can be in the midst of 5, 10 people and they are discussing and you're just looking at them like this because all you've done is to read about MBA. You never partook in it. So it is very important that you're not separated from the pack, and that is why you must stand out. You need something that differentiates you. You need not to be left behind. An MBA is really important. If you can get it, please go for it. If you can't get an MBA, please, certainly in the course of your leadership, in the course of your career path, and to transition into leadership, you need a good global certificate to become globally relevant. Thank you, Babatunde.
Okay, thank you so much. You guys have too much sense. My own is just to be taking notes right now. Like, that was really good. Thank you so much. I like the bouquet of options that people have, right? In terms of you got different perspectives. There's usually not agreement with all of these things, but the idea is to get information that you can make the decisions. So I'm gonna take one last person, and the person I was gonna call actually has dropped off. So I'm gonna call Olaleko and Jani to ask this last question. I hope it's a question. So hopefully we can take this question. Then we thank you guys for being amazing. We say thank you for giving us your time on a Saturday evening. Olaleko.
Okay. Thank you so much, Babatunde. Yeah. Can you hear me? All right.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So my question is this. I think the very first question is, I actually realized that EduBridge, I was actually an alumni. So EduBridge focus more on finance, which is something I think I've actually worked about it. So there are some of us are not 100% interested in building a career in finance, right? So I'm one of that. I focus more on the profit side as a person. So I work as a tech salesperson. So I do business development and stuff like that. So yes, I'm interested in going for an MBA, which is something I'm currently working on. So I just want to have an understanding. Does EduBridge have like a program that is going to focus on just mid-career level people that wants to go for MBA program? 2, is there at some point going to be a switch from just being career or financed career focus? Because right now it's all about accounting, want to do CFA. So for some of us that are more interested in profit or revenue side of business, is EduBridge thinking around that kind of thing? So
yeah, I don't know that I'm actually like the perfect person to speak to this. I know one of the things I was going to do now was to hand over to Olaide. I don't know if Olaide heard that already had that question. So this is me just putting the question on his head. So 2 questions. So the first part is, does EduBridge have any program for mid-career people looking at MBA? And currently, most of the programs, you said most of the programs are finance focused. I would say not necessarily, because I was looking at the programs that we dropped recently. There's a program for data. Sorry, call up, or Adeleke, can you, yeah. Call up, okay, someone is like, okay. I know there's an analyst program for finance. So we have programs for finance, we have programs for consulting, we have programs for HR. There's a global analyst program, there's an experienced hire program. That's a program for mid-career working professionals type program. There's an undergraduate program and there's work preparation courses. I would like Olaide to speak to that, but we have programs that are outside of finance. What you've spoken to with respect to finance is very true. EduBridge as always has a finance focus. I always would say that I'm going to take the blame for that, because finance was my core and I was a big part of that. But you've also said something that I find very interesting in terms of you focus on revenues, you do tech sales, and what I hear is, if we're going to be having anything in the near future that will be catering to that. I don't know that we necessarily have anything for that right now, but I know it's conversations I've had with Olaide and Wakil. So I know that is something that is on the burner. But I would let Olaide, I'll invite Olaide to speak about EduBridge, and Olaide will take those questions, and also thank everybody. But it's been a fabulous time for me seeing everybody and just learning from all of you. So thank you so much. Thank you, Balkis, Shakira, Oluwatosin, Olalekan, Ayobami. Thank you so much. I missed someone, Adefolari. Thank you so much. Olaide, do you want to take it up from there? And before I invite Olaide, we're going to have another session. 2 things that I would talk about here is, Ayobami, enjoy your flight. So 2 things I wanted to talk about here is, this is an ongoing conversation. When I say ongoing, meaning that EduBridge is going to be engaging with you, but we also want you to engage and ask further questions, and let us open those lines of communication. And the second part is, this series, it's a series. There's going to be a quarterly session. I'm saying this thing for everybody so that you can come and you can invite other people. But I'm also saying this for alumni that are also around, so that we can reach out to you, so that we'll not be saying story. Just say, remember, you were on that speaker series, we're inviting you to now come and do your own. I saw Abdurrauf, I saw Shakira, I saw the other people we're going to invite, right? So thank you very much. Olaide, do you want to take it up from here?
All right. Thank you so much, Babatunde. I really enjoyed this session. If I wasn't working in EduBridge, I'll probably just consider having a training or something with EduBridge. It's nice again to see Balikis. I mean, beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful insight from you, Olalekan, Shakira, Abisinola, Bam Bam, everybody, Abdul, fantastic people, Tosin Lori, amazing. Everything that you shared and more were the things that we considered in birthing this amazing conversation. We just wanted people to be able to interact with people who have gone ahead of them, learn 1 or 2 things. I mean, it's not everybody that's going to have amazing mentor, but you can hear something that's going to stir up amazing things in you that would, elicit other thinking and help you to be able to navigate your career the best you can. Like Batunde always said when he was in Nigeria, everybody has great goals in mind. I mean, some of us do have that, but I mean, there's always that person who's going to plant that seed, and there are people that are going to water it along the line, you know. So thank you for all the speakers, all our panelists. I really appreciate you. The notice was quite short, but then you came through, and I mean, this is amazing. I'm particularly amazed at how Ayobami, despite her flight, decided to still join in to contribute. That's super, super amazing. Thank you so much for that time. And for all our alumni on the call, our facilitators, our mentors, I mean, you guys are super fabulous, and we really appreciate you. There are quite a number of people who gotten all their mentees and supported them in a lot of ways. Emmanuel Faith, you are amazing, super, super amazing. Like Batunde said, beyond the classroom is going to, continue. We want to have global conversations. We want to be able to bring in people, CEOs of top firms. We want to be able to bring in alumni from all walks of life. We want to be able to bring in people that are going to influence guys from anywhere. Babatunde and I, at some point in our lives, were in Agbado, you know, doing one or two things. But then we are here today, and we're able to elicit this. We are able to organize this kind of conversation for people from all walks of life. We are able to bring people from 3 different continents. You know, who knows? Before the end of this year, we might, have people joining from 5, 6 continents. You know, and that's the beauty of what this conversation can bring. So about EduBridge Academy, right? There was that thing around EduBridge not telling the story enough, not bringing some of the best minds that we've had, and just training in small classes, right? This is one of the global conversations, and we also have global trainings that we also organize, right? So I'm going to bring some of the global programs that some of our big guys attended at some point in their lives, right? We have, like Babatunde said some minutes ago, we have the global finance program. We call it the analyst program, the global analyst program, which is divided into the finance analyst program, the consulting analyst program, the HR analyst program. For those that are interested in those career paths, you're going to get streamlined world-class training that are going to, assist you, and you're going to get mentors and beautiful facilitators. We have Abdul Rauf as one of our facilitators.
Olade, did you? Okay.
Someone I received the call. Apologies. So we have, amazing facilitators to not just teach in class, right? To hold your hands and help you to grow in your career path, right? We have the global data analyst program, which is not finance as it were, right? So we have a data program that has entered into the 2nd year, and it's been amazing. We've had facilitators from Google. We've had people come teach from top tech companies, and we have beautiful testimonies from that program. So if you're interested in data and you want to build a career in data, that might be a very good program for you. And the link is also in the chat box, so you can join in. And for the mid-level guys who are who want to develop their career, or you want to move to finance or consulting, as it were, and you want to learn some of the skills and grow the network that will inspire that change and support you, we also have the Experienced Hire program, which we hold quarterly, basically, for professionals in the mid-level cadre want to sharpen their skills, or want to have networks, or just practice some of the technical skills, right? So the Experienced Hire program is tailored for you guys. Then we have the undergraduate program for students that are still in school. You want to apply for the internships, like Baliki said, right? You want to apply to Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, World Bank, and all those internships, ARM, both local and international. So we organize trainings to be able to sharpen folks that are still in school, 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year, prepare you for those internships and help you become world class, right? So we have the undergraduate program. Then we have the work preparation courses. So we know that people are also very busy, but they want to learn 1 or 2 things at their own pace. We have some courses on Seller, and we have links that we're going to be putting at the chat box. So you can just check out all of those courses. You're going to they are quite affordable. You can do them at your own pace. You can develop at your own pace. You can grow along the line, right? I know that some of the speakers or the panelists of today, some of them, their profile intimidated you a lot, and you felt like, okay, so how long will it take me to develop myself this way, right? You can start now. You can start today. You can start with the little courses. Pick up stuff, go and check them up on LinkedIn, check your career trajectory, and start to build yourself today. In 2-3 years' time, the story will be different, and you see yourself growing and becoming world class too. I remember, quite a number of these guys, right? I remember working with them while they were still undergraduates, and I remember how they still had some of these fears. But today we have them here speaking to global audience. Finally, for all our alums, like Babatunde said, you can sponsor some of our guys. We have a lot of indigent students across school. You can just reach out to me, like, I want to sponsor 25 people. Who am I not to listen to you? So you can sponsor people. If you have access to any information or funds that can help us train indigent students. We want to be able to train hundreds. In fact, this year we plan to have something in partnership with some organizations to train 1,000 students across universities. So if you want to be a part of that, you want to be a mentor, you want to finance something like that, we want to be able to do this. So please reach out to me. I mean, enter my DM. It's always open. Thank you all for attending this program. This is beautiful. We feel encouraged. Thank you very much. Babatunde, you can take it off from here.
Okay, thank you very much, Olaide. Thank you. I like when you said, who am I not to listen? I like that part. Please reach out to us. Who am I? Who are we not to answer you? Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I saw a few people that I didn't reach out to. I saw Oreo Joshua. I saw you. I see you. Anibukoloa Oladosu, I see you as well. So increase my food when I come to your house. So that she's my sister. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Balakis, for keeping your video on also so that I'm not lonely here. So we'll see you again. Again, remember your promise. You are coming to EduBridge. Recommend people. We want to see your community. We want to see more schools at the program. We want to see more young people. And one final word from me is I'm going to be encouraging you to think about what ambitions you came into this call with. What are the things you said you were going to do? So my advice is double it. If you want to do something and you're not afraid, you are wasting your time, just double it. Double it. If you wanted to be the head of investment banking in Nigeria before, try to be the best head of investment banking in Africa. If you wanted to be in Africa, try to do global. Everybody, please, just double it. And I'll see you next quarter. Or we will see you next quarter. Have a great day. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll share the recording. Thank you very much. Shakirat is dropping a LinkedIn profile. You can reach out to her if you want to. It's been fabulous seeing everybody. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks everyone. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye,
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
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 They don't expect that you are the one that solve those problems.